Sounds turned off. Yeah. Okay. Based. Okay. Do that. 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 And that. All right. Today, if exes were 100% out.
And today, we brought 4 ex-couples to the studio. You're about to face some of the toughest, most intimate questions you've ever been asked. Mai, Jen, what attracted you both together?
So he's not my type at all. So then, yeah, so it was only after that he grew on me, then I was like, I do like taller, bigger guys.
Okay.
Yeah, so then now he's very attracted to me.
How about for you?
Yeah, it's like the same thing. We started as best friends, and then so I never got attracted to her whatsoever. And then it just grew. You know, it's that love, that bond that we had.
We were together for 8 years.
And we broke up about 3 years ago. We broke up because of trust issues and respect issues for each other and communication.
Okay. Okay. Hypothetical.
What's that?
I'm just saying.
What the fuck is that?
The way he said we broke up because of respect issues, and the way he said it without a hint of shame on his face,
And she was
was
smiling?
disrespectful.
She was
disrespectful.
play it back. She was kind of smirking.
She did the fuck shit.
We broke up because of trust issues and respect issues for each other and communication.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Now looking at it. She did that shit.
She did that shit.
She a little devil. That's my suspicion.
My family and friends thought I could do better. Make your split decisions in 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and turn around.
Wow.
Wow.
Interesting. Okay. So Ray, your friends and family thought you could do better?
Yes. You never really met any of my family, but all of my friends think that you took advantage of me and didn't appreciate all the things that I did for you. They also found out about the PowerPoint that you made about my red flags after our first date.
That's so funny.
It's PowerPoint?
Yeah, she made a PowerPoint of my red flags after our first date, and she went through it with her friends.
Hey, you at Microsoft and
You made a PowerPoint of the red flags. You gotta be. You made a PowerPoint of all the red flags you had a first date. Why do you just let it out there to first why do you gotta why is I don't know, what if someone else that's what you're saying, nope, I wanna rob all these people. Everyone in the world this is everything wrong with you. I'm gonna tell everybody. It's just like what it's a very ignorant thing.
Excel on the bitch.
That's micro hard.
Hey, no! She made up. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Today is a
PowerPoint is.
hey. 2024 is different for me.
PowerPoint is wild. You did a PowerPoint of my red flag.
All right, this is where you're a whore, and this right here is where you refuse to be a good bottom. And this right here is where you wouldn't fucking put the toilet seat down, even though you ain't got a dick, you dumb lesbian. And this right here, I don't like the way you smart. That's crazy.
A PowerPoint of your red flag. Who did you show that to?
That is crazy.
Who did you show that to?
I'm sorry, that's like sociopathic.
Yo.
That's so funny.
Isn't it hilarious?
The PowerPoint?
Yeah, she made a PowerPoint of my red flags after our first date, and she went through it with her friends. And then
We were drunk.
eventually I found out, and I told my friends haha, and they were like, hey, that's actually not okay. So
The next prompt is, I cheated on my ex.
Yo, if Shameless doesn't sit on yes, I would be shocked. And I'm expecting the girl on the far end to also say yes.
Make your split decisions in 3, 2, 1. Okay, go ahead and turn around.
Hey, 1 out of 2.
that's what we said.
What
That's what we
attitude?
said. That's what we said.
I told
That's
you.
what we said.
Here's the thing,
That's what
okay?
we said.
And I'm gonna say
The
this:
smile.
when people break up, the way that they talk about it, pay attention to their face. You can normally tell if they're the ones who are guilty of whatever offense it was or not. The way he said it, he wasn't saying it like, "Oh, I did it." He had a straight face, like trust issues, and there was a lot of things. If you've done the cheating, there's hesitation. There's a hint of shame in how you describe it. He never did that. That's why I felt like this little one did it.
Jen, you're on yes.
So we were just really young. We dated since high school. We realized that we had very different love languages, and then I was just always constantly searching that in other people. But yeah, like I messed up, and then I hurt him a lot because I'm also his first girlfriend and everything. And so like everything like really came crashing down hard after.
How did you find out?
It was like a friend that we hung out with in a group for I think like about 3 years or so. She talked to him and he talked to her behind my back. So then the girl that was with that guy at that time, I found out from her because she sent me messages
Okay.
that they deleted from each other. So
What was it that made you want to cheat on him?
I don't know, like I always told him, like when we started being together, I was like, I hate cheaters because I got cheated on before too. I think it was just more environmental factors, like how I am with my family. Like
I hate cheaters. I hate cheaters. I hate myself. I hate myself. I hate cheaters. I hate myself. I hate cheaters. Hello, Dave? Yeah, I'm gonna cheat on my brother. That's wild.
I'm just like this perfect person. And then I think I always wanted to like self-destruct, self-sabotage, but he was like literally everything I ever had. Like he was the best person, like best boyfriend. He treated me right. Like our love language was very different, but like, I mean, he loved me and I know that he loved me, but then I don't know what happened. And I like, that's my biggest regret.
after the cheating, I tried to make it work, you know, but it was still in my mind, in the back of my mind. The trust was gone.
Is there a chance?
I mean, there's always a possibility.
You were so close. Even doing this video is a bit of an off thing. But for you to sit there and say there's a chance, to me, that sounds like it's gonna happen.
She just has to say yes.
That's sad.
The first prompt is, I will miss having sex with my ex. All right, go ahead and turn around. Dane, you say yes. So Luna, you say no, I will not miss having sex with my ex. Why is that?
I just haven't really felt any sexual urges for anyone for a while, so it's not just him in particular. It's just not something that's been in my mind lately.
Dane.
I mean, yeah, I totally would love to. But
Hey, shout out to him. Shameless. Even though she's like, nah, I'm not interested, he's like, bro.
Shameless.
Yeah.
you know, I'm just gonna have to move on from that.
How does it feel knowing that she's stepping on the no right there?
Oh, it's no biggie, you know.
Okay. Were you expecting that?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I've been trying.
Yo, shameless is the facts. This dude has no shame. Shout outs to him.
Ray, you're no, but Mia, you're yes. So Mia, I'd love to hear more.
I feel like the sex was cool for the time and I enjoyed it, but I feel like if we were to try to revisit it now, it would be weird just on like an emotional level, but like the sex was good physically.
Ray, why are you on no?
The sex was better for Mia than it was for me, just because of the dynamic that we had specifically. It was more focused on what she wanted than what I wanted.
What was it that you wanted that you weren't really getting?
She wanted the bottom.
I'm a top.
I'm also a top?
Yeah, so
I got him wrong. Man. I'm still studying my lesbos.
She was being pegged. Fuck.
Yeah.
I'm a top. I'm also a top, so it's focusing on her, so
Yeah, so.
leave my butt alone.
Yeah.
Priscilla, Victor, you both say yes.
I think we had a really good sex life. I'd only ever been with one other person before him. So when we got together, I was really given the space to like explore, like was very fun for me.
1 out of 10, how was the experience?
I was a 10.
How's it for you, Victor?
10. I just want some suspense there, yeah.
She went, yo, watch what you. You saw her head cocked. 10. Good. Watch what you fucking. Yeah, good. Oh, I might have sucked your dick. Okay, good. I'm sucking dick.
I saw her face before. I saw her face before he actually gave his answer. And it was pretty funny. Yeah. He's like, come on, nigga.
I ain't even saying pause. I don't care. I ain't saying pause. I ain't saying pause. Watch what you say.
Since our separation, I've been with someone who is better in bed.
God damn, what are these questions?
So Jen, after the breakup, there was
Yeah.
someone else who was even better.
So like when I was with him, like that's the best I ever had. But then like
Oh, my man's dying. My man's dying on the inside.
when we broke up, like I was with someone that like really loved me, like really like just gave me everything in the short amount of time that like for 8 years I couldn't even feel with him. That's why I think that their sex was better in the sense that it was like love. But I think that's what I was missing from him was like I couldn't receive love the way that he gave.
Did you feel that way too during the sex? Like you couldn't give your love?
I thought I gave my all, 100% of it, because that's all I knew.
It's your first. If you don't communicate that shit and she don't say that shit like that's not what I want or this and that whatever, it's gonna be tough. So
I never fully trusted my ex when we were together. So Ray, you never fully trusted Mia when we were together.
So the second time that we dated, it was poly, and it started off with me being a secret to one of her other partners. So I didn't know that I existed, and then once found out that I existed, didn't know why I was in Mia's life. But like you were my girlfriend, like I was your partner, and
Yeah.
she was just someone that was a branch of other relationships.
But did this other person know that? Did you
Yes.
communicate that to them?
Yes. Yeah, everyone knew. Like,
Not everyone.
she knew you existed. She just didn't know like who you were because she didn't want to know.
Oh, you knew exactly what the
Don't do this dumb ass shit. Fuck you if you do this shit because you're the one that, or at least state it out loud. If for whatever reason you're the type of person to say, I can't let people know about our relationship, it needs to be stated out loud, and the reasons why you're doing that needs to be stated. Don't do this shit to where I have full right to not tell anybody about you, and if the other person, because of course the other person is going to feel, well, why are you not telling people about me? Are you ashamed of me? Like it's like you need to account for that and know that there are people like that in the world, and you need to act accordingly. This idea that it's nobody's business who it is. I'm going to lie to everyone and tell them I'm single or not in a relationship, or tell them it's not their it's not their business, sure. But if you're actively saying I am single, or saying stuff like, or pretending like you're with another person, or pretending that the person you're with is not the person, it's just like, then I just don't be with me. I'll tell you that. Don't be with me if that's the type. I want someone who's gonna say, yeah, I'm with him. So what? What you gotta say about it? Fuck you. That's what I want. All right.
question was, and you decided to answer another question. Listen, when they say that that person knew, they talk about the relationship, dum-dum. You knew damn well what the fuck you was talking about, all right? Did you know? Yeah, I mean, they know that you were existing and you have a social insurance number. They just didn't know, like, what was your relationship with me.
Shady.
Luna, so you never, trust wasn't fully ever there.
In the beginning it was, and there was an incident where I was using his phone as a flashlight and a girl texted him saying, come cuddle. And he swore that nothing sexual had happened to cause that. And whether I told myself I believed him or not, I just never could really come back from it.
Anything you want to say to that?
Yeah, so like that was out of the blue for me as well. That was my girl best friend at the time. But no, yeah, it was a random come cuddle, and she knew that I was with Luna, and like it was just like.
Dan said she was doing it on purpose
Yeah,
to
I
try,
think she was
so
doing
I
it
could
on
see it
purpose.
and get jealous to try and get at me.
You're not going to be my first boss. I'm not buying that. Got homework over here, getting a text from another girl saying, come cuddle, and ain't nothing going on. Even if ain't nothing going on, why? Respect the boundaries. Respect the boundaries. They don't keep going. Like, or at least say, hey, if we have a romantic relationship, understand that I have a female friend that I cuddle with from time. Say that. The moment you decide I'm going to hide that, you're saying I accept the actions is bad. I don't want to deal with it because I want to continue to cuddle with this. That's what you're saying. I don't give a fuck what you got to say. That's what you're saying. Like, you know what?
You got some.
And you trying to make her jealous? then you can't call yourself a friend of that guy. If I'm in a relationship and you're trying to make the woman I'm with jealous, like, I don't need you. I'm with her for a reason. If you want, I want to make her jealous. Bitch, go find a man. You got too much time in here.
Homegirls that are, that are very close friends. Do they ever text you something like that?
No.
Come cuddle?
No.
I've recently cried thinking about my ex. Mike, we recently cried over Jen, huh?
Yeah. I mean, like, it's not just one time. It was like multiple times since replaying this scenario. It's like shattering, you know? Like, you had hopes and dreams of something that would, be like the end, but it's not. And then, like, every time that I think about it, this is like heartbreaking.
How about you?
Well, not all the time, so probably like last week or something. I don't know. We always try to talk about like getting back together because like we're like almost 30 now. Like we should have like a family and kids.
You got family and kids?
He said, we're almost 30 now, we want family and kids. Hey, yo. So this girl, she did what the red pill guy say. She rode that cock car.
Should not be a reason to date somebody. Don't date somebody. Well, they would be a great parent to my kids. Like you probably need a bit more than that. Yeah.
Carousel, right? And then after she got off the ride, she said, "You want to walk me home?" That's crazy. That's crazy.
No, cock
she
carousel.
cheated on you through the whole relationship. Said basically she's been getting piped down by people who are way better. Now please take me back because I think I'm ready to have kids and I think you're a provider. That's what they be saying, and this is accurate. That's crazy. That's disgusting.
Going up and down that pipe.
I loved my ex more than they loved me. Make your split decisions in 3, 2, 1. Okay, go ahead and turn around. So Mike, you loved Jen more than she loved you.
There were things that she did that showed me that she doesn't love me. She's like a word of affirmations kind of person, but even though the words say that, she loves me, it doesn't show it. The disrespect, the mistrust. Yeah.
I mean, I thought I knew what love was. I thought I loved him, but of course, like if you love someone, you don't really go and do that. And I would say like now I feel like I appreciate and love him more. So roles have been reversed now, but before it was definitely him loving me a lot more.
Luna, Dane, you both say yes, you both loved each other more. Dane, let's start with you.
In a relationship, you're physical with your partner. You tell them that they're cute, amazing, that you love them. You always reassure them how much they mean to you. And I never got any of that from Luna, which made me really
That is a lie.
Apparently
That is
that's
not
a lie,
true.
but that's how I felt, and it just like threw me off in our relationship for sure.
I tried to say positive things to you, but if you didn't hear them, that's
What was it you didn't hear, like?
Things that made me feel appreciated or important,
And so why do you say yes, Luna?
actions speak louder than words. I feel like I made more sacrifices for our relationship, and I just I didn't feel like my energy was matched by Dane.
I think we both have like different love languages because I feel like you probably have words of affirmation, so you need that.
Hey, listen.
Shut
hey,
the fuck up,
hey,
little.
hey,
Little devil. Hey, Satan's little devil. Shut the fuck. This ain't your shit.
Shit.
Stay out that shit. Don't stay on business. Mind your business. Okay? Don't.
Somebody to say, yeah, I cheated. Yeah, it just the other nigga wasn't what I was looking for, and them dicks was better too, by the way. You should probably just
Drive the car, stay in your lane. I'm not talking to you, and you're not involved in that shit. What?
Yeah, you need to stay
Dude!
on. Yeah. I think love language. Hey, don't use the shit that you used to cheat to make everyone else in your fucking disgusting boat. This girl trying to snitch on everybody. You like me, bitch, and you like me too. Hey, see, you want to take me back now? They like me too. Come on, come back. Let's have kids. Forget the cock carousel behind me. Let's have kids, please.
Yo!
Yeah. Pause.
I wish my ex and I were still together. Okay, go ahead and turn around. Go ahead and turn around. Dane, I'm a little surprised to see you on no after this conversation today.
Yeah, I know. I changed my mind today.
Really?
Yeah. Just like coming out here with like my own intentions and like just realizing that I'm pretty like stupid for like thinking that me and her would ever have a chance again. And just seeing the way both of us interact together this whole trip just makes me not want to be together with her anymore.
How do you feel about that?
I agree. We just don't mesh well anymore. Yeah.
What you came here today hoping for what?
I came on this whole trip with Luna just to make her happy. Hopefully that like she would notice that I care enough to spend time with her and do stuff that she wants to do.
So that maybe you could get back together?
Yeah. But there's no happening with that, so I'm just like accepting it now and standing on no. Yeah.
Wait, I'm not gonna lie, that blonde girl kind of did this. This was her idea to sign up for this thing to do this. She's over it, but she dragged his ass on camera to do this fucking weird show.
You know what we call that? A message.
Oh, I thought, okay, what's the message?
He could have said no. It is sure it can be a message, but he could have said no. Definitely
Yep.
could have said no.
She wanted to say that to his face because he's been. Remember in the beginning of the show? I mean,
That if they try to say something, I guess would you like to go chill? Bitch, I got out while I still could, bitch.
remember in the beginning of the show when they're talking about, do you still wish you was sleeping together? And he's like, yeah, I've been trying. And she's like, yeah, I'm not on that tip. So they've been contacting each other. They've been talking, and he's been trying to get back with her. You understand what I'm saying?
So I
So
agree.
but yeah. So she is devious, but it is a message.
You want to send a message? Just saying.
Yeah, but maybe
Getting on a YouTube video to do all this, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's just petty.
You say yes, you want to get back together?
If there were maybe, I would say maybe, but there's a lot to work on. We can relate to each and everyone's story a little bit. A lot of it is a lot about communication. I do something for her, she doesn't acknowledge it, right? So I feel like whatever I'm doing is just worthless,
What do
right?
you do for me though that I don't acknowledge? I feel like I always acknowledge everything.
I should have ended it, but I didn't know any better. And so we kind of dragged it on further than we should.
And if you could just get the love languages right, you think you could be together?
Yeah. And the infidelity, yeah.
I think so because I feel like everyone here, like the reason why we're not together is because like everyone's communication is so different.
Yeah.
Like it's just so like prominent. You did love me. You just loved me in the way that I couldn't even like realize. And then I loved you, but then you didn't care about everything that I did verbally for you, like me wanting to know where your whereabouts. He thought I was nagging him the whole time. I'm like, no, I just want to know where you are. Like, just let me know so I can like just feel safe.
Oh my!
I want to know where
days.
you are so that when I'm
my
cheating, you can't
days.
catch me.
All this shit that you do for me.
Bruh, you don't need a date to date, step by step. Where you at all day, every day, unless you're trying to clock that person's position for whatever reason. I don't think you need to know where are you every second, every day. That's a bit like, it's a bit much.
Doesn't equate to me wanting to know where you are. Yo, cause that's love. Yo, you sound like a motherfucker that try to start something that is toxic into love.
She's trying to turn water. She's trying to turn water into wine.
She's trying to turn water into vinegar. Listen, the reason I'm acting this way is because I love you. That's what you sound like.
So you're both trying to change that to be back together?
I mean, I want to, but I don't know. I feel like you're not really ready for that conversation or something yet.
She was my best friend. She was my girlfriend, my best friend, and pretty much my family. But kind of shattered that. So it's kind of hard to rebuild.
At least I guess.
Yeah, I mean, like there's always room. You know, there's always room. But it's not gonna happen overnight, kind of thing. I still need to work on myself.
I'm ready to ask you in this studio right now. Will you take me back?
It's gonna be a bunch of no's except for one girl, and maybe the guy.
Okay, everyone, make your split decisions in 3, 2, 1. Okay, everybody, go ahead and turn around. Some people are like relieved, like, oh, thank God. Not on camera, oh my God.
This whole trip, I kind of learned that both of us have grown into two completely different people in the last 9 months.
Definitely on different paths. Neither of them negative. Just it makes it clear why we broke up.
I think it was kind of eye-opening because I feel like everyone are exes here because they don't see eye to eye at all, and that was really the downfall of everything with us too.
It's interesting to see how solid our friendship is, like all this time later. It's cool to just have all these questions kind of reaffirm it.
Well, that's all we had time for today.
Well, could be me. Anything else?
Thank you.
Okay, today's topic. This one's really interesting to me. So, I've been doing quite a bit of research on this topic, but recently Dr. K was on a podcast talking about this, and I wanted to discuss it with Preet.
Anytime you have a human being who is suffering in some way and they cannot find connection with another human being, they cannot find compassion with another human being, that person is going to feel isolated. And if you look at the statistics on, it's very interesting.
Before we begin, let me do a little bit more to eat.
So the number one thing that correlates with male suicide is not depression, and this is super scary. There's one study I saw recently that suggests that 50% of men who kill themselves have no history or evidence of mental illness. And this, I believe the statistic in my clinical practice.
To be clear, it doesn't mean they don't have mental illness. It means that they may have never seen a shrink or psychiatrist to be documented for it.
Because I know what depression looks like. I know what bipolar disorder looks like. And half the men that I've worked with, at least, are not actually mentally ill. See, mental illness means a pathology of the mind, which means that the mind is malfunctioning. Most men that I work with, their mind isn't malfunctioning. They genuinely have a life that is no longer worth living. They're looking at things and objectively realizing that there's no way out of the situation. So they turn to. So I know it's kind of like a very controversial statement, but I think that's what my clinical practice has shown, and there's some research to even back that up. So if we sort of look at what's going on with men, we're sort of, they have nowhere to turn to. And the number one thing that correlates with it is not mental illness, but is a sense of thwarted belongingness. So this is kind of like multivariate regression analysis. But basically what happens is what causes people to kill themselves is they try to connect with others and they get rejected. So it's specifically a very specific research term called thwarted belongingness. So I try to belong to a group, and that group, or multiple groups usually, will thwart my attempts to join the tribe, to join the community. And this is what actually correlates a lot with suicidality. So what's going on with men right now is that we really don't allow them to suffer, because then you're not manly. And we're so externalized with our attention that we're not connecting with ourselves. And so we're looking to other people to tell us what it means to be a man.
Okay. So, thought that was really interesting. Speaking on the fact that a lot of the people who are not, who are often themselves, aren't mentally ill, which sounds kind of counterintuitive because most people.
Because most people are like, what? You're willing to kill yourself? You must be. It is impossible. It's just like, I don't. Life is so. Life is so, like, not 100% on anything that you have to acknowledge there must be at least one person who's out there that genuinely evaluates their life and their trajectory of their life, and they're like, you know what? Nah, I'm good, bro. I'm checking out. And it's like the fact that we only do that for people that are like have like a terminal illness or something shows that it's like, I feel like that's more like an ego thing. Like, well, from my point of view, the only way I would want to end my life and not be crazy is because I have an illness and I don't see like the quality of my life improving or going anywhere. Okay, but if the base of that is I don't see the quality of my life improving or going anywhere, is that it in and of itself? Or is like, no, I have to have something that's gonna kill me in short term or long term or midterm anyway. It's just like you're dismissing every single person who could, like, they're all crazy, all of them, 100%, all crazy. Yep, it's just like it just reeks of like confirmation bias, or it reeks of like I can't fathom that I'm wrong. It's just what it sounds like. If you want to say most people are the overwhelming majority, okay, but you're saying that all people, it's just like, okay, well, I guess you just know better. You just know all people. You just know like that. But
To assume if you're going that far to do something that extreme, you must have something broken in your brain. Okay, but I mean, it's actually even depression. Sometimes people think depression is always like a mental illness thing. It's not. Sometimes depression is just born out of circumstances that should make you depressed. You know, like you lose your job, you don't have a mental illness. You're depressed because your circumstances are depressing. And people can't sometimes separate those two things. They think that the symptoms that are arising from real life circumstances are always born from that. But like, no. You know, losing your girlfriend or your partner after a long time of being together and being severely depressed of that, that's not a mental illness. Right? You don't have some pathology. You have circumstances that make your life incredibly difficult. The symptoms can seem very similar,
100%.
but the pathology, like why you get there, is completely different.
There's a difference between circumstances and chemical imbalance in your brain. Sure. It's two different things. Yeah, definitely.
One thing that he said that I thought was interesting, he mentioned the term thwarted belongingness, and I ended up reading up on this quite a lot because I was interested in it. And I think he said something about multivariate regression, so maybe that's what he was referring to, but it's not actually just thwarted belongingness. Thwarted belongingness is the idea that you try to belong to a group or try to belong to somebody and your feelings are rejected or not reciprocated in a way. You're in a relationship with somebody and you're constantly trying to shower them with love and things like that, but it's not reciprocated. A father who tries to connect with his the mother of his child and the children and can't. They can sometimes feel a tremendous sense of thwarted belongingness because like the one thing that they really want to belong to, which is his family, they have a hard time connecting. But it's not just that. What ends up happening is there's like three things. There's that. There's some perceived burdenness. You know when you're a burden? The idea of being perceived as a burden. Okay? That's the term. I can't say. Burdensomeness. Okay? It's a really hard word.
Burdenness?
No. Burdensomeness.
Burdensomeness.
Yeah.
God damn.
Burden.
They just adding extra.
Burdensomeness.
Yep, you're burdensome.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I get
it. It doesn't
it.
matter.
Yeah.
This is why I don't got a degree. Anyways.
Amen.
Okay?
Amen.
High school dropout right here.
Amen.
I can read, but I can't pronounce everything.
Amen to that.
Now, this is basically the idea that you are a burden to others. For a lot of people, that can lead them to a severe depressive state where they feel like my parents think I'm a burden because I still live at home and I don't have my degree. My partner thinks I'm a burden because I don't have a job and she makes all the money, or vice versa. Or I can't give my partner any kids because I'm bare. So there's a sense of burdensome that you feel towards the other person that can put you in a severe depressive state. But even these two, in conjunction with each other,
I'll say from personal experience, if you find yourself, if someone is asking you, there are certain asks you can have in a relationship. I need you to do X. I need you to do Y and Z. You need to know yourself to the point to where if someone's asking you for something that you can't deliver on, it's better to just say that. It's much better to just say that. As hurtful to yourself as that may be, it is much better to say that, because you don't want to find yourself in a position where you're promising something to someone and they're expecting that from you and you cannot deliver. It is the most demoralizing. It's terrible for you because you feel like a piece of shit, you feel worthless, you feel like you can't stand on your word, and it's like the worst for them because it's like, I can't rely on this motherfucker for anything. I asked them for this and they can never deliver. It's just like, just know what you can do, know your capabilities well, know yourself. That's cannot provide for the
each other actually don't lead to offing yourself. It actually takes a third factor, which is probably the most important one, and this is hopelessness. When you combine those things with hopelessness, there's a huge correlating factor with that and self-deletion. So I thought it was super interesting because in thinking of some of the people that I personally know who've taken their own lives, those three, or have attempted to, those three factors were very much there.
They're like, why am I even here? I'm a hindrance to others. They don't want me around, and I don't see this changing. It hasn't changed in so long. I should just off myself because it's logical. Now you watch, he's like, that's never a logical choice, but I want you to understand, you're seeing it from your perspective. I'm trying to see it from theirs. For them, it is a logical decision because they've met those.
For as much as unless just people talk about progressives and social justice warriors and all that, when it comes to, like, maybe on the LGBT side, they've done a good job. But, like, when it comes to the mental health side, the idea that the average person is like, someone committed suicide, 100% of them must be crazy. On that end, we have not opened, at the very least, opened a conversation or even opened our minds to the idea that is that necessarily the case. I want someone to say it is necessarily the case. There are 0 people who can take their own life and have them still of rational sound mind. The fact that the statement is like the fact that the statement in of itself is just enough to just like you're not open to have that conversation. You're saying that it's impossible.
Those 3 factors. They don't want me around. I am a burden to them, so I make their lives worse by being around and breathing the same air. And this isn't going to change. Once they meet those 3 factors, they decide, no mental illness. Here's what's funny. This isn't a new thing. You know, in African folklore, they often talk about how old people, when they pass a certain age, okay, they are given their final hunting tools and sent off into the jungle to hunt one last time. And the reason why this is in folklore is because they don't want to be a burden on the younger tribe. They don't have the means to be able to provide for them, and they're too old, and so they're going to go hunt as a way to, you know, have some honor or whatever it is. But really what's just happening is that there's no hope for change. They are a burden to the tribe, and they're being ostracized because they're, you know, taking away from the food storage, whatever it might be. And so that's the process. And you realize this concept isn't new. This has been around for a long time, and it makes sense why in a lot of cultures where people do take their own lives, quote unquote, that these 3 factors are often met. But anyways, this is me just pulling from my own.
That would make sense. The aspect to the human condition that is social. The moment you cut off that social, whether it's a sociopath, a psychopath, someone that's objective in society, can't connect with people, the more you destroy that avenue, it's just like you have a completely different caliber of person. And I feel like a lot of people would rather just be like, yeah, you do have a different caliber. And just leave it at that, because any conversation past that are incredibly hard, and it requires you to have a level of critical thinking.
Anecdotes of some of the stuff I've seen through history, but I thought when I read this study it was really
it is, but it really does happen. Being a burden to someone, those 3 things that you stated is really what it is. And the state that puts you in, and this is not a promotion of self-deletion or anything like that. It's just that you have to understand to be able to help those people, you need to be able to comprehend where they're coming from and what they're living. Right? If you just say stuff like, nah, but it's okay, it's gonna be all right, it's without even understanding what they're feeling and where they're coming from, you're not helping. You're not helping, because adding on top of the feeling of hopeless.
All you do is make them feel like, you know what? I am crazy for just feeling this way. What the fuck is wrong with me? I might as well. And like you like feed into that, or you could feed into that immediately. So, oh hey, everything you're feeling isn't. You're just crazy. That's all. Hey, come on, you can. But this is just crazy. Is what it is about.
And being a burden, now I'm just not understood. So you're just adding more reasons why.
Good.
I remember I was talking to a friend that was talking to me about their feelings about
self-deletion.
And like that person went through all their friends, and it was the same thing. This, that, and this and that, and you'll see. Basically, what they were saying is, have a glass of water, it shall pass. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The equivalent of that. And I I think I was the only one that said to that person, and I'm not a specialist, and I wouldn't recommend. But at that time, I said, you have the right to feel the way you feel. It doesn't mean that you're right. But I understand where you're coming from and why you're feeling that way. You have the right to feel that way. Now, you should, and then I directed them to a professional, because I ain't no professional. I ain't no people I ain't Ghostbusters. I'm not the one that you should call, and stuff like that. This is above my pay grade and my education, understand, and my capacities. So,
I mean, partially true, but not at the same time.
Yes, but I'm not gonna be like. There's so much I'm gonna be able to do.
Fair.
I can only direct you to a right direction and tell you certain things. I'm not gonna take it on to me to be like I'm gonna be saving you. I can't.
No,
I can't. I don't have the tools. I'm gonna do what I can to do the best I can with the capacity.
What does that look like? That's what I'm asking.
What does it look like?
Yeah, what does it look like? Because
sometimes it's just you shutting the fuck up. It's you shutting the fuck up and listening to the person, really listening. And then when there's a silence, like
a lot of people can do. A lot of people just cannot. There's so many people that, like, even with good intentions, in their point of view, I just want to help. I just want to fix. So you're offering solutions to a person that isn't looking for solutions. Maybe this person just wants to vent. Maybe you're a person to where you're a person that can think out loud, and then they can bounce ideas off of a physical being next to them, even without you saying it. Have you ever had a person that just says, man, this thing, and then this thing, and this thing, and then talking about it out loud, and then you being there, they'll be like, you know what, someone should do this. And just by talking to you, even without you saying it, them talking to you, not you talking to them, can give them, can do a lot for them. Sometimes just listening is good enough. And a lot of people just don't want to listen. They feel like, oh, the bad intentions. No, like these are the ideas I have about this, and I feel like I need to share them. I feel better when I share them. You need help, bring it up to that person. You don't hijack that person's venting for your own. Well, venting. Well, if you wanted to vent, why did you start a conversation? Why did you wait until they say something about how they feeling about whatever?
okay, but like, how does that really make you feel and why you feel like that? Try really to comprehend the thing, not trying to understand what they're listening to have a rebuttal to make them change their mind. You try to go about it like every time we're arguing. I'm not trying to argue to change your mind. I'm trying to argue to have my point there.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm not trying to change your mind that I can't. I don't have the capacity to change your mind. But let me just talk how you feel, because I don't feel it's right. And I understand where you're coming from. Trust me. And have a real conversation. And the conversation is not just me cutting them off or just like, nah, denying everything that they're saying. It's me listening to what they're saying and be like, okay, well, those feelings are real. You're not crazy. You're feeling something, and then reassuring that and understanding the person's real feeling is that that thing is real. But then again, I'm not gonna take it onto me to be able to change your own pattern and change everything. Because now after that, if shit goes south, then the guilt is on me, and then the guilt is gonna be tremendous and stuff like that. That's why I'm gonna be able to direct you to the right path.
Yeah, that's another thing. If you're someone that loses someone close to them due to like suicide, you cannot put that blame like the level unless you were out here saying, yeah, you should do it. Yeah, I don't see a reason why you should live. You absolutely should be killed. It's like unless you're that person, if you were there for them, you listened to them, you cared about their feelings, like that's the best you can do. If you offer them resources like, hey, you should talk to this person and help me. Hey, I'm here for you, whatever. Like, that's the most you can do. You cannot put it on yourself at that point because it's just like, I guess, on the other end, as gross as it is to say the other person has no responsibility to maintain their own life. It's 100% on you. Is there you take 100% of the responsibility. Someone else ends themselves. It's just like, I don't think so.
Path, and I know professionals that are going to be able to help you, so I'm going to direct you to that. But I mean, I'll give you the ride there, and I'll be there to listen, and I'll be a lending hand. But I'll be like, yeah, this is who you be able to talk to. So that's what it sounds like and what it looks like.
To come back to the three things that were brought up over, I've known people in my life who were incredibly depressed and had ideations of self-deletion, and for them, like, sometimes just getting a job that they enjoyed changed everything, because they no longer felt like a burden. They could
That's
control.
what it is, y'all. If people who are killing, if y'all are ending yourself, because y'all don't have a sense of purpose. One of the big things in life, and I feel like to some extent, original hijack this. You can create Russ, another fucking hero. Russ. You can create your own sense of purpose. Do not need a purpose that derives from another human being. Because if you do that, your purpose will always be contingent on another entity, and that is not sustainable to have your only purpose be another person. You can hire other people who like indirect things to do. Like if you're like, if you're a firefighter, you should want to save lives because you feel like it's the right thing to do, not because you're crazy. Because the moment, let's say you're a firefighter, and you decide to be a firefighter now, it's kind of fucked up, man. Just know what you need out of life.
Contribute financially.
You know the thing.
They could change a lot of things.
And they have when they wake up in the morning.
Very small changes can have huge impacts. Now, it's not to say that these problems are small, they're not. But it's just to say that sometimes people are really living lives that, if they kept living that way, would be not worth living. And so it's not crazy to not understand where they're coming from. And I think that one of the worst things you can do when someone is telling you, like, my child rejects me, my work is unfulfilling, this and that, it's just like, oh, it's gonna pass. Like, what, am I just supposed to endure this? For how long? Do you know? I don't know, but it's gonna pass. It doesn't help. But that makes you feel hopeless.
Yeah, and then if somebody walks up to the person that says that and says, okay, how long should that person have to wait for it to pass? Now I'm the asshole for asking the question. Well, you said it.
You've already been enduring it for so long. So just be careful in just trying to brush over the problems and think that everything is going to heal with time, because we have enough self-deletions to realize not everything does heal with time. Okay?
No, it's what you do in that time that heals it.
Some other things that I thought were really interesting in my research for this is social media is heavily correlated with self-deletion. And you start to realize that people's perception of their own lives and their ability to connect with others is heavily impacted by their social media use and affects them, be it from a content creation standpoint or just from a viewer standpoint. Sometimes viewing everything through the lens of, like, how do other people live their lives, and like, oh, everyone else appears to be happy. Everyone else I see on social media is taking the perfect picture.
Social media is a highlight reel. All it is a highlight reel. No one's gonna tell you, man, I just lost $5,000 doing this shit, or oh my God, my card is what the hell? You're gonna see a vacation, you're gonna see a new fashion, you're gonna see this amazing meal from a 5-star restaurant. Everything is like 1,000. It's kind of like, I don't know, compare the entire world to, I don't know, a home that has home toilet seats. I guess everywhere. Why is your metrics off?
Pictures and their bodies look amazing and all this stuff, and it starts to mess up with your own self-image and your own relationship with your mind and the people around you. So social media was a huge factor, which I don't think is a surprise to anyone, but a lot of studies are now backing that up.
Yeah.
Right.
I can see it, especially at a young age.
Yeah.
Being exposed to that when you're young, like, you don't really have all the tools to comprehend what's going on around you. You don't have all the tools to decipher everything. I remember my sister being like a library rat. She's always reading books and stuff like that. And my dad has a bunch of books. He has a bunch of books. And I remember my sister going through his office and trying to rummage through the books and trying to find something. And she was very young and she fell on the book called Roots. And my dad saw that my sister was reading that and he was like, ooh, this not for you. This not for you now. You cannot be exposed to that because there's a lot of things that you're not going to be able to decipher and not going to be able to understand the context of certain things. And it might change the way you view life and view others around you. You should not read that book now, but you have other books that you can read. It's the same thing with social media. There's some pages that you should not have access to because you're not going to be able to decipher certain things. Same way for lyrics. Same way for why you have PG-13 on certain movies and stuff.
I'm going to disagree with you.
Go ahead.
I don't think there's an age at all where social media is good for you. I see old people on Facebook, and social media is horrible for them. I honestly don't think age.
I don't disagree with Abba, and I don't think I disagree with Preach here. I feel like there is, it's the same way with drugs, it's the same way with media, it's the same way with sex. Younger audiences are naturally going to have less of a capability of understanding what it is that they're going through, what it is that they're experiencing, they don't have the capability to look at it from multiple angles, from multiple perspectives. Like, they can only see it from theirs. So of course, when it comes to social media, it's going to be the same thing. All they can see is all the glamour and all the money and the wealth and the likes and the comments, and it's like everything is like so. It's just like, chill out. A lot of this stuff is just botted accounts anyway. Half of these people ain't even real, so you don't gotta worry about it. It's just be who you are. As cliche as that sounds, and the more you are yourself, the more you will either create the life that you want, that's for you, that's best for you, and you can find more people that resonate with you instead of a bunch of fake fucks who end up being your friends for 5 years and you realize, why were they ever my friends in the first fucking place?
Like, I think for young people, they may be more vulnerable, maybe, and I think you can maybe that argument. But even for people in their 20s, they're constantly looking at everyone else with their social. Like, why do you think these women are constantly having those issues with their self-body and everything like that? That's social media.
I agree, but it's worse when.
True, and even people talk about teenage years being like, when you're a teenager, everything is so impressionable. And I'm not saying that's not true, but being a young adult is exactly the same. Because by the time, like, think about this: you graduate at 18. If you get your bachelor's, if you go straight into college, you'll have your bachelor's by 22. You continue on to get your master's. You get your master's around 26. Like, if you stay hardcore, you don't miss a year, you go down that path. If after doing all that, you have nothing to show for your life, you're going to feel worthless. The whole world told you, go to school, get your degrees, and when you do that, you'll be a model member of society. So if you put all that pressure on you, do all that work, and you're still not there, bro, that would be suicide. Real shit, it just would be. I worked so hard, and I'm still a worthless piece of shit in the eyes of society. That is what we're saying with shit like that. Again, what is best for you, what works for you, not necessarily what society tells you. Even if society
when you're a kid and you cannot decipher. I'm not saying that it's better when you're an adult.
There's so much expected of you in your 20s. Like, people who are in their 20s look at themselves as if they're in their 30s. I should have everything figured out. I should have a foundation for my life. I should be stable. I should know. It's just like, that is, you just got out of high school at 18. Your life is going rails from birth to 18. And you're saying, I should have everything figured out no matter 4 fucking years. That is insane. That is unrealistic.
Adult, but at least when you're an adult, you have more tools than the kids. I'm not saying that it cannot affect you, but it's definitely worse when you're a kid. Now,
Andrew Tate. People talk about his effects on young kids. what's the difference between his effect on adults? I said it before. Feminists and society in general never gave men good messaging on how to live their lives and how to lead their lives. And here comes these guys who say, hey, we know your life is shit, do something about it, and give you actionable steps. That's always going to be more appealing than the other side.
Both groups are answering the first part of the video, right? Where they are answering a problem, which is people not feeling like they belong. And those crew, the Tates, the Met-Yow, the Red Pill, answer that first part. Oh, I got a group that accepts me. Yeah. So, and because that group accepts me and
Girl, if you do that, if you want to see every person who watches Red Pill, every person who watches TikTok, every person who watches social media, manosphere stuff, just be aware. If you want to see all of them terrible, also acknowledge I will never reach these people. They'll never listen to anything I'm saying, which is fine. You can have that. You can't say I hope these people do this. I hope I can do this and change. Well, I hope these people change. Or at least acknowledge, well, I'm not doing anything to see that change. But then also acknowledge that you're not doing anything. Just know where you are for whatever position you decide to hold. Know what you're advocating for and what you're
they're the only group that accepts me, no matter what garbage they're feeding me, on top of whatever truth they're saying, because there's something that are based in truth in what they're saying. They accepted me. Yeah. So now I owe them my life. Yeah. And I pledge allegiance to the flag of.
That's a bit insane. These people gave me a purpose. Well, it's insane as I say that. Don't have purpose instilled by other people. You have to have yourself or any other type of purpose. Necessarily or necessarily
Yes, but I don't. But it is what it is, and because they kind of saved me, which in some kind of way they did, all the other toxic stuff that they're spewing on me, well, at least they saved me, so I don't care about what you say about that.
Yeah, fair. I actually agree with that. I think that's a great point. To come back to the original point, well, I think what is being discussed right now is really important. Is sometimes we brush off self-deletion and everything under a mental illness. Something's just wrong with your brain, not recognizing there's real life circumstances that lead people there. And I think it's a good thing in a way, because once someone's mentally ill, most society just puts it aside, like give them the medication, that's it. But now, once we understand it's circumstantial, it's something a lot different, it's cultural, it's our way to connect with other human beings that's really impacting these.
I think that's even that is indicative of society. Oh, you have mental illness? Here's some pills. Here's some pills. Just take some pills, man. Just take some pills. It's just like it just say that it almost feels like I'd rather you just be honest and say you don't give a fuck. Just say, if we can just have some pills to solve this problem, please. Just anything. Just, I don't want to deal with this. Just give them some pills. I understand you might be like, well, it's kind of like homeless people, like the general aspect, or the general zeitgeist of society. Just be honest with it. Just like, I don't know. Just be honest with it. I don't like to you care about these people. Or when it comes down to it, just say that.
Decisions. We have more control over that. We have more influence we can exert over others. It's not going to be fixed with a pill, but it can be fixed with other circumstantial changes. So to me, even though this might sound really dark, I actually think it is a red herring, where it's like there are things that you can do to change that. And in the people I know who've had self-deletion ideations or thoughts of that, they were able to change their circumstances and come back from that place. So that's what I think. Not entirely a bad thing. Thoughts?
No.
All right. Well, this topic came up from our Reddit, so if you guys want to be able to post stuff that we want to see, then go to our Reddit, leave stuff there. Also, we're discussing all these topics in our Discord, so go check that out too. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below. We want to hear from you.
Appreciate that.
I appreciate that. See, this is the thing about this whole discussion.
I appreciate that.
first one who I've ever heard said that.
Yeah.
So this is, I believe her name is Lori Gottlieb. We already covered one of her videos in the past before where she talked about, the studies of sometimes people having unrealistic expectations of dating. The video is really popular. I think it has like 1.5 million views.
Men and women were asked what would be a deal breaker for going on a second date, and men named 3 things. They said she has to be cute enough. She doesn't have to look like Angelina Jolie. She just has to be cute enough. She has to be warm and kind, and she has to be interesting to talk to. Those seem like really valid criteria.
Ding, 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 ding. Pretty simple.
Right. Okay, reasonable, right? The women came back.
We continue. Let's listen. Hold on. What were those things again?
The video is really popular. I think it has like 1.5 million views.
Men and women were asked what would be a deal breaker for going on a second date, and men named 3 things. They said she has to be cute enough. She doesn't have to look like Angelina Jolie. She just has to be cute enough. She has to be warm and kind, and she has to be interesting to talk to.
No. And interesting to talk to. Okay. Wait, who was this? Wait, hold on. Fuck.
Those seem like
Where did this come from?
Talked about, I think it has like 1
things.
million views.
Men and women were asked what would be a deal breaker for going on a second date, and men named 3 things. They said she has to be cute enough. She doesn't have to look like Angelina Jolie. She just has to be cute enough. She has to be warm and kind, and she has to be interesting to talk to. Those seem like really valid criteria.
Ding, 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 ding. Pretty simple.
Right. Okay, reasonable, right? The women came back with 300 things that would rule out a guy for a second date. And we're talking about like another 2 hours and maybe a free dinner. And they wouldn't do it. And there were things like he wore a brown belt with black shoes, or we were having a really good time.
Brown. There's a part of me that almost wants to call this bullshit and wants to call it bait. Like, if you're a woman that's just like, I guess you got. Or maybe this woman, it's the news, so this woman is just sensationalizing. What? Unless they look insane, it's just like his loafers clash with his trousers. It's just like, are you serious? Like, give me a real problem for not to have a second date with somebody. You gonna be single forever.
Time, and I thought he was cute and he was interesting, but then he did this Austin Powers impression, and I just can't get that out of my mind.
Austin Powers impression?
And I can't go out with him again. Austin Powers guy could be the love of her life.
This is bait. This is black pill incel bait. I'm already calling it.
If he does these impressions on the second date, okay, don't go on a third. But maybe he was just nervous. The guys who are bad first daters might be great life partners. You don't know.
So this is another video, and I decided to just click on see what it's all about. I believe that she is an author and a therapist.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a old school romantic, as they say. My partner, she has a great job. She has her own money. But I just absolutely feel the need to open up every door for her, pay for every bill for her. I would absolutely not have it any other way. Maybe that's because I'm insecure or something, I don't know. But I watched my dad do it for my mum, and it's like hardwired into my DNA that...
It's a weird, it's a fine, because if you want to pay for someone because you feel like it's the right thing to do, it's a job, it's duty, I'm traditional man, I'm a woman, and this is kind of like the dynamic of our relationship, I feel like that's fine, but if you're like, I need to pay for everything because as a self-worth and who I am, my worth is based on how much money I have. Society tells me if I don't pay for everything, I'm a piece of shit. It's like, again, internal goals of happiness. Internal, not what society is saying. Internal goals. Go burn up a building because it will make you happy to burn up a building and burn up a building. Have some consideration about this.
My role is to protect, take care of, do everything I can to support. And if she, I'd really struggle with her paying for me. And she's got her own money. She's got her own business, her own job.
But have you talked about it, or just?
What do you mean by paying for you? Like, let's say you pay all the bills, you pay the car, you pay the house, all of that, cell phones, all of that. And she's like, hey, I just wanted to go get you a cup of coffee. I'm going to Starbucks outside. Get a cup of coffee too. to? Does that count as paying for you? Or if you pay for 95% of the dates and she says, you know, I just want to pay this one time I'll cover the date. Is she paying for you? No, it's just like, what do you mean by paying for you? Like, any time that she swipes my card for you at all outside of holidays and gifts, is that like, she's paying for you now? Like, I'm not saying you said I don't know how people are.
Worked out that way. She never said, can I pay this once or can I?
Yeah. She pays. You know, it's like a bit of a competition. She'll like sneak off to the bathroom and pay and stuff. But generally, I think I've always wanted to do that on dates, and
That's a good woman. That's very good. Because it's very easy to just let someone do something for you all the time. But especially when you have the means and you have the ability to not be generous at any point, I think is a character flaw, in my opinion. Now, of course, maybe there's somebody who's like, yo, if you ever pay, I'll fucking lose it so you can't. But like, I imagine if I had a billionaire wife, okay, she like paying for everything. I still make enough money where I want to be able to pitch in. I would still want to pay for things. Like, and it would bother me that I could never pay for anything, even though I make enough money to be able to pay for things. You know, like, oh no, I'll pay for you. No, I want to pay for my family, and I'd also like.
Just want to feel useful. They want to feel needed because it provides a level of value.
Be able to take your family out at some point, so it's not just a one-sided all the time when I have the financial means. If you don't, that's one thing. But when you got it and you never do it, I just don't understand how you could not be given gifts in life and not want to be generous to the people around you. Do you know what I'm saying? That's why I think it's great that she goes out of her way to make sure she still be able to do it.
if you sat people down and asked them the question, you go on a first date with a guy, and he asks to split the bill, or he doesn't immediately pay. Would that be an ick for you? Would that turn you off them?
That would be a huge ick for me. Yes.
So even for you, it would be.
Yes. Yes.
If you went on a first date with a guy and he didn't pay.
Yes.
Would you?
Absolutely.
Offer to go. Usually, whoever offers to go is paying. If that happens to be the man, 99 times out of 100, then I would suspect he would pay.
Why?
Because more chases that, like, if someone is taking her out, I think that's what the question. Are they saying it to be like so much precise? Because that's what I understood was like, if someone takes you out, takes you on a first date. So if I take you on a first date, I took you. Of course, I wouldn't want to pay. I took you, but I'm not sure if they really meant it to be like that precise on word. If they're just talking about a general date where we're just going on the date, and then, or is the part of the sentence that is important is the I taking you. You know what I mean?
Sure. I think either way, they're still expecting the man to pay.
Okay. If we go out as friends, like, it's gonna be different if it's like a one-on-one. Like, one-on-one makes it difficult. So if y'all go out and just like, I'm gonna imagine like, a girl says, which is up to me, to eat at Panera. Oh yeah, sure, I go. I'm probably in my head, probably mad. I'm gonna be paying for myself if she's gonna pay for herself. If she invites me out to Panera, and I'm like, I thought you were paying for me. Nasty to come out here. I didn't. She bad. It's just like, I don't, like, you don't want to invite somebody out somewhere. I just think everybody.
Thanks for the clarity. Which,
and also women will sometimes not ask you out, but they'll position themselves in a way that they're doing all this stuff just before they're asking you out, so you can ask them out.
Yeah.
So you're like, here, I'm gonna give you my number, you're gonna call it, and you're gonna ask me out. But it's the funny thing that's like, you've literally written everything down, but you still want me to do that. Well, again, it's not a complaint. This is just a thing that love ladies will do. And I know some of y'all in the comments right now are like, I've done that. I don't know, it's okay.
you know, it's like a date is like a little wedding. I'm gonna position myself for you to ask me, and then I'm gonna position myself to get. But you're gonna pay for it.
Yeah.
It's your family that pays. You know.
Yeah. Well, sometimes I'll ask a question so you can ask them for more. So they'll be like,
And this is what people, will say, all women will say of all ages. I think for my age, we grew up with that was the expectation. I think for younger generations, maybe it's not the expectation, but I think a lot of people still like it or want it. There's something about it that says I really valued our time together. I care. I'm interested. It's a way of signaling interest, but I think even if the person isn't interested and you're never going to see each other again, it's just a nice gesture.
Well, I gotta be nice to you whenever we're going to see each other again. I just wanted to say that.
That's because you're not a nice person.
Also,
yes.
But I just really just wanted to say that.
But I don't have any rational way of explaining why. And if I were to get rational about,
I wouldn't say that because all that statement, I don't have a rational way to say that. I wouldn't make that statement, at least not out loud. Not with all these red pill niggas out here.
it, I would talk myself out of it.
Yes.
Appreciate that.
I appreciate that.
Wait, what was that last part?
Way of explaining why. And if I were to get rational about it, I would talk myself out of it.
Yes.
Appreciate that.
I appreciate
that. I mean, it's honest. I'll give her that. That statement. Even if I know something to be like rationally true, I'm going to talk myself out of it. That, like, if you buy into that statement, there's so much.
I appreciate that.
See, this is the thing about this whole discussion. She's the first one who I've ever heard said that.
Yeah.
And I could at least respect it. She said, if I had to rationalize it, I'd talk myself out of it because it's not rational.
Yeah.
And that's okay. And I've always said this. This is a dumb fucking rule that we've all accepted, but we all embrace it. And I just don't complain about it.
I appreciate that.
I pay for the dates. I'm okay with it. But don't give me some like, I did my makeup, so you don't do that.
Don't do that.
She didn't do that.
Yeah.
I respect
it.
You know what I mean? Like, don't try to explain.
Don't try to fucking rationalize something that is not rationalizable. Stop. Just say that it's not rational.
It's magic, Abba. No, lady. There's a. I don't think what she said was crazy. I think on the whole topic of paying on the first date, like she said, if women want to do that and they want to split it, they split it. But at the end of the day, dudes, this is just one that we're going to have to take on the chin. Okay. And there's some things I'm okay with taking on the chin because I'm like, this is not the worst deal. And also, to be honest with you, I'm the type of person who enjoys being generous. I don't really go on dates with women who try to take advantage of me for my money or like try to get free meals out of me. I'm pretty good at sifting out those kind of peoples. So generally, it's like I'm being generous with somebody I like, and I enjoy that process. So for me, it's not like here's this thing that men have to do. It's just like I just don't like it when they insult me with their I pay for my makeup. Shut the fuck up.
Exactly.
Let me pay for the date, but don't act entitled and be grateful. That's it.
That's what
the same way when you put an effort to look good, I'm grateful, but I'm not saying, well, if you want to find a man, you gotta make sure that you always wear your. I don't do that. When I pay for the date, they'll be like, well, as a man, you're always supposed to. Don't do that. Don't. If you want to have this kind of romantic, old school lifestyle, okay, don't remove any of the magic surrounding it by being entitled. You know what came along a lot with the whole idea of chivalry? It came with grace. It came with the fact that women had to be gracious. They had to have etiquette. Yes, a lot of y'all want the chivalry, but you guys have the etiquette of a streetwalker. Yeah. Why would anyone be chivalrous and offer the knight's code to a damsel who's a streetwalker? That's crazy.
I think that's a very honest answer. And then the counter sort of rebuttal to that means, okay, so if men are expected to pay, then
you're expected to give up some pussy.
Okay, so if men are expected to pay, then we're gonna need more money.
Crazy.
I think that's a very honest answer. And then the counter sort of rebuttal to that means, okay, so if men are expected to pay, then
you're expected to give up some pussy.
Okay, so if men are expected to pay, then we're gonna need more money.
It depends on what you mean by that. Like, let's say let's say you live in a world where the economy of your country prohibits like 90% of men from being able to have the amount of money you want. You will either like remain single at that point, or you will be like, I'm going to have to adjust my standards. That's the only way. That would be the only point, the only way at that point. I don't see another way of it happening.
That's not the team that could.
We're just being two jackasses right now.
No. He went left. He went a different direction.
Yes, and it gets very expensive to date.
Yeah.
It does. I mean, you know, people will say, "Oh, you can go on a hike. It doesn't cost anything. You can do a picnic. You can, you know, watch a movie. There are all kinds of things you can do." But the reality is, it's kind of like, I remember that old Chris Rock joke. In the first 3 months of a relationship, you're not you. You're the ambassador of you. So, you know, you want to impress somebody. You're trying to show interest in somebody. But I do think there's that really primal need for safety that is gender-based, that we don't like to talk about or acknowledge, but that I think women really, I think if somebody doesn't pay on a first date, if a guy doesn't pay on a first date, I think a lot of women don't feel safe. That's what it comes down to.
It's a tricky world, and it's getting increasingly trickier, it feels, you know?
The reason why it's tricky is because there's a lot of social norms that are taking place in the world right now, and if the thing that's happening is, what I think, this could be wrong, it feels like there's more and more of a need for things that are implicit to now be explicit, or at least explicitly stated, like, yes, this is what we're doing, this is the case. Because if you're going to do something and then everyone is going to pretend, no, it's not the case, or everyone's going to be tight-lipped about it, but we're all going to go along with it, it's kind of like, imagine if you want to be, like, farting in public. If you fart in public, people are going to be like, oh, that guy. Just like, first of all, is farting weird? Everybody farts. If you don't fart, there's something wrong with your digestive system. Why aren't you farting? What is wrong with you? You are not regular in your digestive system. You need to do something about that. And it's just like, okay, on that point, okay, yeah, everyone farts. Okay, cool. How often does society force us to be in public? Are you saying a person has to hold it in all the time now? Well, no, I'm not saying that. Okay, then I don't understand, man. Like, what are you saying, man? It's just like, how much of society is built off of this stupid stuff, and then people won't even acknowledge that stupid stuff is there. Like, when people are, like, professional in the workplace, like, what does it really mean to be professional? Oh, if you use adult language, how does that take away from the ability to do the job, though? Okay, well, it's not about that. But that's what work is, your ability to do the job. Oh, no, it's more about all this etiquette and it's just like, okay, so it's a whole bunch of window dressing. At least call it window dressing. Don't do this thing where you're just like, oh, this is just how we act. You're just like, you're shit. That is what that is. I don't know why you can't be honest about it.
Feels like an insult almost that the person doesn't pay.
Not many people. Some people would, but no one would really publicly say that, though, because it's like not socially acceptable to say that you expect them to say. But in private conversations, of course, everyone I know is that if they went on a date with a man, so in a heterosexual relationship, and the man either asked to split the bill or suggested that you might pay, this person's not going to get a second date.
Of course not. No. Unless it was the woman who said, oh, no, let me split that with you. But if it was his decision, and he said, oh, let's split this, or he put it in the middle. No. I in therapy, the young woman came to me recently, and she said she went out with this guy, and they went to a cafe, and they got coffees. And he...
These are 500 dollar coupons, and double click it $500.
asked her to split it, coffee. And she said, and she was having...
What'd she say?
with you. But if he
pay,
Mm-hmm.
this person's not going to get a second date.
Of course not. No, no. Unless it was the woman who said, "Oh no, let me split that with you." But if it was his decision, and he said, "Oh, let's split this," or he put it in the middle, no. I in therapy, the young woman came to me recently, and she said she went out with this guy, and they went to a cafe, and they got coffees, and he asked her to split it, coffee. And she said, and she was having.
Pay for the coffee. It's like $3-4. Pay for the coffee.
All right, so I'm just gonna take this 5 and
Even I'm fine with like people splitting stuff.
I'm just gonna take this bank.
It's a coffee. It's a coffee.
She said, and she was having so much fun on the date until the bill came. And she was shocked. And she thought, okay, well, she made it was very personal to her. At first she thought, he must really, really have had a horrible time with me to want to not pay for my $5 coffee.
Or this is a representation of the rest of your life with me. We splitting bills. Nah, pay for the coffee. Pay for the coffee.
And then he asked her out again. And she said to me, I don't understand this at all. So he was interested in me and he didn't pay for my coffee. And she did not go out with him again. So these are the kinds of signals that it very much is emblematic of something. Who pays on that first date?
Do you agree with that decision that she made?
100%. And I mean, I didn't say that as her therapist. It's really about understanding it for her. But I do agree.
And her face is like, mm-hmm. In her head, she's like, yes, bitch.
That's exactly what happened. I like that dynamic. I mean, do I think it's wrong to not want to go out on a second date? No, I don't think it's wrong.
Depends on your criteria. What's your criteria?
I don't think it's wrong if you want to be with someone who you feel is generous as a man, and you don't feel like something. Honestly, like, okay, here's an example. Let's say I go on a date with a girl, okay? So first date, we go get coffee. I want to pay, and then I realize I forget my wallet. And she looks at me. That happens, okay? Let's say I forget my wallet. She looks at me and says, I refuse to pay your half. I would not go on another date with her. I'm okay with saying that. Why? Because I'm like, if you can't even be generous enough to just take care of this, and then I promise to have you back on the next time, if you can't even have that level of trust over a $5 coffee, you're probably not somebody I
about your whole relationship, like especially on the dynamic. Let's say I'm paying for everything or something, and I forget my wallet. If you can't for $5, bro, that would feel weird, man. It just honestly would. Like, if you paying for almost everything or almost everything, and then $5 comes up and they ready to have a fight over it, I don't know, man. I don't know. Because it's just like $5 for you is supposed to be absolutely nothing. The idea that $5 for them is the end of the world. That would be. No, I'm not saying like, hey, pay $100 bill for me right now on the spot. I'm not saying that, but it's like $5, bro. $5? I'm looking at you funny. I'm definitely looking at you funny.
I want to be involved with. Maybe you have some trust issues. Maybe you have a whole bunch of stuff. It's a $5 coffee.
I think it's more than that. In that situation, that I forgot my wallet has been done so many times, and it's kind of in the stories that we hear of bad dates, and we hear stories about that. Oh, the guy didn't have his wallet. Oh, the guy didn't have his wallet. Oh, he took me out, but the guy didn't have it. So to her, she can see that as a red flag. It's not more so much about the coffee, but about the social baggage that a man not having his wallet represents when you're going on a date.
Well, then you're gonna find that out in the next couple of dates if it's an ongoing issue. But to sit there and say, I won't pay the other half, What are you gonna make an awkward scene with the fucking barista or the people at the
No,
restaurant?
you're gonna
You paid, even if you don't.
They're gonna pay, but they're gonna see that could be a deal breaker for seeing you next time or not.
Okay, well then this person is probably not somebody I want to date with. If an unfortunate small little thing like that is enough for you to not want to go on a date, you weren't that interested to begin with. Honestly,
You what?
You weren't that interested to begin with.
No, like I said, it's not necessarily interested or not. It's because of the bag.
Absolutely. It's a $5 coffee. If you're like, oh, this person must be lying or whatever it is, and you won't go on further dates to not find out, then yeah, a $5. If it's a $200 date, or if it's like a $200 dinner and the person's supposed to, I could understand.
I see what you're saying.
A $5 coffee.
I see what you're saying.
So all this to say, I think generosity inside a relationship is always good from both people. From both people. It shouldn't be a one-sided thing. So her not wanting to date somebody who wouldn't want to cover it. I think going on dates, especially if you're seeing someone and you want to be going consistently, I think it's perfectly fine for one person to pay. And then I paid 3 dates, and then the other person's like, I want to pay for the next one. I'm like, sure, go right ahead. And then she ended up paying for the 4th date, and I thought it was great. And I think you should have a partner who wants to pay for certain things sometimes. I don't think it should be one-sided 100% of the time. But some people want to have their life set up that way. What I'm trying to say is, if you seek for generosity in that regards in a relationship, there's nothing wrong with saying, this person doesn't have that, I don't want to be with them. What are your thoughts on this whole thing?
I think
Just know what you want. If you have, these are my expectations for a relationship. Just be explicit with it, be out loud. I'm gonna hint at it and hope they get it because I just don't see the reason why you just wouldn't.
It's cool. It is cool. I'm like, oh, okay, she's taking me out. Shit, sometimes you want to be the little spoon.
Facts. A lot of the times.
Yeah, you grab
Little spoon. Hey. Your tiny ass homie.
You kind of do, yeah. You do want to be the little.
Facts. Well, no, man, I don't give a fuck about gender roles. You better learn to be a big spoon from time to time. Stop playing with me. I've had this conversation.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I'm like, how y'all not be telling us how nice it is to be little spoon?
Because they gatekeep.
Yeah, and then they girl boss.
Yeah.
And then when you try to convince them otherwise, then they gaslight.
And then they scissor. I remember that lesson.
Yeah. They girl gatekeep, girl boss, and gaslight. All this to say. Guys, okay, there's 2 things that women been hiding from you that I've done extensive research on.
Peep game.
The 2 things.
Peep game. Thing number 1.
Lick a spoon.
Lick a spoon, you hear?
All right. And thing number 2, skirts and dresses.
What?
I'm not saying guys should wear skirts and dresses, but I'm saying not wearing pants, having like robes and stuff feels amazing. I wear a robe. The difference between a robe and a dress.
It's not the same thing, but
is it?
It is. Wait. It's not the same thing, but it is the same thing.
It's the same thing. It's
just, but like a dress really looks like a dress. A jalaba doesn't look like a dress.
I've been dressing like that because I saw my forefathers dressed like that, and then I got a little bit older. I started rocking them, and I'm like, oh, I get it.
Shit,
I get it, yo. You need to let that shit breathe.
You think you're better than me?
Yes.
Because you got 4 fathers, I only got 1. You fucked up.
You want that shit out there. No one anywhere said anything. But anyways, all this to say, to come back to the topic.
Kilts,
I have no problem.
Kilts. I was wearing kilts. Kilts is
that's a skirt. Absolutely is.
No.
Would they wear that one in Scotland?
Yeah, Irish, Ireland, Scotland.
Gotcha.
UK. Anyways, you were saying?
To go back to the topic, let's all just be respectful of the fact that we have our parts, and we generally accept it if we want to, but we don't act entitled about it. So,
I just appreciate the fact that she said that it was not rational.
Yes.
That's it. For that, I'm like, okay, carry on. Carry on. I felt like this conversation was like on an equal base.
There are some people who will say it is entirely rational, but those arguments, there's a part of those arguments that tend to dip into the naturalistic arguments, and I'll just say it's interesting how, depending on where we are, certain naturalistic arguments will immediately just go right into and it'll make sense. And other naturalistic arguments will be like, no, hell no, that feels like that's confining and forces me to adhere to a certain thing. I just think it's interesting how, depending on what we're doing, you just pick and choose, well, what's natural is only good when I already like it, which...
thing that happened is that whenever we have this conversation and you, like you said, you come out with a mumbo jumbo about all your makeup and everything and stuff and this and that, you're taking me for an idiot. Yeah. You're taking me for a ride. When you're like, yeah, I know it's not rational, but that's how I like it. I'm like,
yes,
you shall get it. I'd rather you're like, it's not.
Absolutely.
Get that. Then you take me for an idiot and you're like, okay, well, all right, makeup and this and that and that. I gotta take you to like a fucking chump.
I think she just made the best argument. That's what I want to hear now.
I could have been ready to, no, nah, you just saw him the whole thing. I'm like, okay.
Yep.
Yes, ma'am. I will take you on a date.
At any rate, that's it for today's video topic. Let us know what you think. Do you guys agree, disagree? How do you feel about this whole thing? Also, we have Discord. Go check it out. It's in the description below. And we got a second channel, How to Preach in the Flow, where all the second Jubilee videos go.
Yeah.
Tonight, this new video is showing a man dancing on an 18-wheeler here in Houston moments before he was knocked off to his death.
Laughing immediately.
Sorry.
Laughing at somebody die?
If you die in a stupid way, I'ma laugh. If you do something stupid, nah, B. It's not true that the death of someone is never funny. No, if that's the hill you chose to die on, and your hill has 18 wheels and pass under a bridge, and you get the bunk on you, that's a choice.
This is a TikTok video.
You know, what I gotta excuse myself. I gotta say I'm sorry that I'm dead inside. Well, okay, because
you're dead outside.
I'm dead out. I'm dead inside. You're dead outside. That's good. That's good. That is so good.
My man moonwalked himself to heaven.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's keep going.
See, you're trying not to laugh.
That's somebody's child. And your child's an idiot.
Raise them better.
This wild video was posted on the Facebook page of Grizzly Hood News. Police say this happened Thursday along the East Sex Freeway at Twom Street. Now, the driver apparently had no idea that the man had jumped on top of the vehicle and started dancing. He was knocked off the vehicle as it went under Twom Street. He died at a hospital. The driver is cooperating with investigators.
Do you know how big an 18-wheeler is? Like, whenever you have a car, the blind spot that you have, what you have to check to have a blind spot is really simple. It's this. You're done. An 18-wheeler, everything in the back of you is a blind spot. A lot of things in front of you are a blind spot. There's a lot of things that you're not gonna feel. Like if someone jumps in my car, I'm gonna feel that. But the back end of an 18-wheeler is not attached to the front end, so I'm not gonna feel all the vibration and everything. So yeah, there's a very good possibility that he didn't know that dude was there, dancing and everything and stuff, and then he died.
Why would you be on an 18-wheeler? Like this is just like people do like that Tide Pod challenge. Like as sad as it is, like there's a certain level of should I eat Tide Pods? Like if you're already at the mental like wherewithal to start eating Tide Pods, it's like I don't think there's anything we can do for you.
I mean, of course it's unfortunate, but do I have any sympathy? No, not really. It's like when people were surfing cars. There's some people like, there was a thing where you would get out of your car, a moving car, and then you would surf on it. And then people died from that stupid ass trend. And I'm like, yeah, if you get on top of a moving vehicle, your moving vehicle, it's a possibility that bad things happen. It's cool if everything goes well. What if nothing goes well? You slip, you fall. Shit, some of you slip when they walk. You want to go on top of a moving vehicle? Things go bad when you walk in the street. Last year, I broke my face walking on the street. On the street! It hurt me so much, I almost shat myself. not proud to say it, but it is what it is.
Is that when you like fart and you don't know if you shat your
Oh yeah, you're like, and then you're just in so much pain you don't know shit no more. You're like, ah, boom, ah, shit, oh fuck, ah, oh no, what's going on? Your body's giving out. You don't even know if it's pain or if it's real or if it's paint. If you know what I mean. So yeah, bruh, come on, you're gonna move on top of an 18-wheeler and then you end up dead. Yes, it's like if I'm in front of a cop and I try to take his gun, I might end up dead.
This is what it takes for some people in their heads, just to be a little bit relevant. They're not often getting paid from these things. They just want some attention and some relevance. So they'll do this. And the thing is, everyone before them has already done something more extreme or less so they feel like they always need to up the ante. Well, I just can't be known for how well I dance. Let me go dance in a public place. Let me dance in front of cops. Let me dance on top of the cop car. Let me dance at City Hall. Let me dance during a pregnancy, during a giving of birth. Let me dance. It's not even about what people are doing. It's all about where they're doing. Even with food. Food is like that too. People are more concerned with taking a picture in a nice, cool place with cool decor and making sure the food's got cool presentation than the food actually tasting good. Everything now is more about like where you can do a regular thing in the oddest place. Bro, this isn't a French fry. This is a French fry dipped in turtle doo-doo. Okay. And then glazed with gold flakes. People would pay thousands of dollars so they can post about it and they can say, I did.
I have a new rule. If we go eat somewhere and we eat together, right? And before we eat, you take a picture. That's the last time we eat together.
I'll say this. I've noticed a lot of restaurants now, and I can spot them before I even go there, where they're so concerned with presentation and all the pictures they take, I already know the food's gonna be mediocre or mid at best. Because they're adding in ingredients from other cuisines that have no business being on the plate. And sometimes like fusions can work well, but some people put no thinking into it. So they'll fuse anything together.
I call it dice cooking.
Yes, they'll put like an apple from Taiwan on a regular pizza, and they'll take a picture and they'll cut the apple specific. And I'm like,
today we're having creme brulee with caviar. Okay, and I'm not doing sea urchin on that creme brulee. That makes no sense.
And they always got to give it a funky name like Rising Sun. Nobody knows what it means, but it's what it's called. I'll have one Rising Sun, and it's a creme brulee with caviar. Kill yourself. Now, on this topic, this is the kind of stuff that I see that makes me think like, yo, a TikTok ban might not be so bad. But I don't even think it's about the platform. I don't even think it's, I don't know if you get banned. I don't even think it's about the platform. I think the real problem
it's a bit
is that we just, no. I think we had trends like that even before.
Okay, I know what you mean then. Never mind.
Yeah.
I thought you meant something else. But
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We had trends like this before, and now they're just being amplified, but this issue was there.
Yeah, because the platform is...
Remember the cinnamon challenge?
Yeah.
People died from that.
That was people before the TikTok. Yeah, because people have asthma.
Yeah, I know. It's just like, when I think about cinnamon challenge, I did it too. Well, it's like, I did it by sink if I needed some water was available. But then, like, if you died from the cinnamon challenge, you didn't have water next to you, and it was like, serious. I rinse my mouth. And besides, like, the cinnamon challenge compared to being on a semi-truck or 18-wheeler or the Tide Pod challenge or Jesus Christ, the fire challenge. Like, I mean, I get what people are saying, but I did the cinnamon challenge mainly too. The whole part of this.
You have problems with the particles in the air. You think you're not gonna have problems with fucking particles of cinnamon? Yeah, there's gonna be a problem. There's gonna be an issue. Yes, people die. No, you're right. Never mind.
So all this to say, this man dying, is it tragic? I'm sure for the family involved. For everyone else, they're just like, we're tired of these idiots using the public spaces as their set design, not caring about who's there, how they're a danger to themselves, how they're a danger to other people. They don't give a shit. They don't care that they're blocking other people. They don't care that they're recording other people who don't want to be recorded. They don't care that they're disrupting public spaces for their own self-interest and their own attention-seeking. They don't give a fuck. So when these kinds of people lose their lives, like, I don't care. You don't care about others. Why should I care? You know, you realize you traumatized the
same aspect on the road. If you out here cutting people off, zagging, running red lights, if you get shot somewhere, you just got shot, bro. I don't give a fuck.
A bunch of people with your death who had to watch you get turned into a fucking puddle because your idiot ass wanted views on TikTok. Why should I care? I hope that if I have kids one day that I impart them enough self-respect and self-worth for them to never have to do dumb shit like this online for attention. That's my hope and dream.
And the thing that happened is that for the family, if like let's say that's my son or my daughter and they die like that, I'm pissed. I'm pissed.
Yep.
That's how you chose. Like, all your life, I've tried to keep you alive. As a parent, I try to keep you alive, give you the right medicine, stress over your well-being, stressed out of what's going to happen at school, stressed about oh shit, she's really coughing, it's really bad. And then I raise you to be like 18, 19, 21, and then this is what you decide to do, and you die. I'd be pissed at myself. I'd be devastated, not by your death, but how you chose to die. And I put it 100% on me. Knowing me, I'd be like, yo, that's my fault. I've raised you to be like that and to die like that. After all we went through, the first 6 months of having a kid is the most stressful 6 months of your life. You try to see, it's a life or death situation. You go through all of that, put you through college and everything, and this what you decide to do. I would be like, I failed. I failed my kid, I failed me, I failed society. You did bad on your parents. Because now they feel bad. That's crazy.
Yeah. Tell you, man, I really think
You just pushed that thumb over there.
people's brains are being rotted. Not even by TikTok or anything like that. People's brains are being rotted by the fact that they're just addicted to the attention online.
Yeah.
And the things that they're willing to do for it is rotting themselves. But I think we've been pretty down, so I've got a video ready that cheers for.
And that video cheered me up. I'm not one bit down.
Tonight, this new video is showing a man dancing on an 18-wheeler here in Houston moments before he was knocked off to his death. This wild video was posted on the Facebook page of Grizzly Hood News. Police say this happened.
He said Grizzly Hood News.
It's a relevant newscast.
You didn't have to mention the shitty ass Instagram, whatever it's called. And then someone wrote, he danced really well during the chorus, but he killed it at the bridge.
That's bad. But if that's how you decide to die, that's crazy, man.
He was an instant hit.
No, the comments are ruthless. People are.
He killed it at the bridge. Still got me rolling.
This right here, you see what's happening right there? And I think it's happening to all of us in society. Like, we are more and more numb to people dying in front of us.
I don't think I'm numb to it. I don't have sympathy for people who don't care about others. And I think this TikTok generation, why they piss me off, is like I said before, they just don't care about who they inconvenience to make their social media posts. Now, do I want all of them to lose their lives? No. But I'd be lying if I said I didn't care.
No.
I just don't care when it happens that much because they don't seem to care about anyone else. They don't care, like these pranksters don't care when they record other people. Why should I care when they get blasted? People ask you, don't record me, don't take my suitcase, don't take my luggage at the airport. Then you get beaten up by the dude. Yeah, I don't care if he murks you. You know why? Because your job every day is to go out and take people who are just living their lives and make their lives more difficult for your own entertainment and your own self-interest. Why should I care if you lose your life? You don't care about anybody else? I don't know. It just, to me, when I watch this kind of content, I'm like, I cringe so much inside. I'm like, how do you not have any shame? But anyway, I don't know, maybe.
If you're going to do that, you know, like, if someone doesn't give a fuck about me, I would at least do that.
I need to raise a kid myself in this environment to see. I just want to know what the parents think.
Oh man,
That's what I want.
I would be devastated.
I want to know.
I would have been devastated.
But anyways, let us know what you guys think in the comments below.
through all of them? Okay. Got through all the Abbott and Preach. Oh, guess we're watching. Gonna watch some Destiny now. The massive appeal of Fresh and Fit debate. With Sneeko on investigating why Noah wanted J&J.
I don't know how many countries in the world can put together something like this. This is a wildly different set of characters. Wait, am I missing DMs? Okay, this is what conservatives won't acknowledge, drives me crazy. Giving a vaccine, you're not thinking about whether or not is the vaccine effective or is it harmful. That's not the thought. People think that's what you're thinking about. That's not at all the thought. The thought is it's not the vaccine competing against no vaccine. Do you have an opinion on colleges going test optional? I think I said this before and people got really triggered. And I don't mean to trigger people, but I think in general, I think test scores and class scores are gonna be highly correlated with capability and intelligence. I think they're good to have it. It's incredibly rare when you meet somebody who's like, oh, I'm so smart, but I just can't pass any of these tests and I just keep failing all my classes. That is incredibly rare. People will bring out like the 1 or 2 counterexamples, and it happens, nothing is 100%. But in general, if you find that you're failing a lot, then you either don't grasp the material well or you're
doesn't know how to wire shit. I don't want you working on it, bro. I don't. I'm sorry. Like, we need tests to determine that. Or at least offer, well, we don't want to use tests. Maybe real world application. Maybe someone can't do the test, but you know that they know their way around wires, electricity, and all that. And they can do that. That would be I feel like that would be a test in itself, where they're being tested by a real world application.
you need to pick a different field or subject or whatever, but yeah, I'm sorry, yeah. I have an anxiety disorder, tests are hard for me. Okay, but like, what is the job you want to work? Like, how is the anxiety disorder going to affect your job? Or, I don't know. I mean, it could, but also, wait, I just got well actually. An anxiety disorder is not the normal person. It's the average person shouldn't have an anxiety disorder. I split the VOD. Attempt to pass a proof-based math class through pure intelligence, I dare you. I don't understand what you're saying. I'm not saying that it's just pure raw IQ that gets you through tests. I'm saying that it's gonna be that plus like studying and learning and mastering the material. What is the argument for increasing the diversity of the country being a good thing? Genuinely asking. It just seems to be the case that having a more diverse collection of people like confers a whole bunch of soft benefits that are just really hard to measure directly and discreetly, but in the aggregate seem to just be true. There was one big, I need to find this at some point, somebody can find it. It was either a huge working paper on the MBER, or it might be actually published research, that like firms that are more diverse just outcompete firms that aren't. There might be a lot of tangential reasons why that is the case, but that just like appears to be a fact. Like more diverse firms tend to outcompete other ones. Having a larger pool of people, like different people to draw from or that are collaborating together or working together just can create new ideas and things that you weren't aware of before. Like another example of this, for instance, is like there's a synergistic effect that happens when multiple firms are operating in close geographic proximity to one another. That if you have a city where there's a lot of tech firms operating in close proximity, just having these workers near each other can create synergistic effects that benefit companies and stuff. So, yeah. Outperformance is not always good.
The character that I'm playing right now.
Okay. Would you agree that memory-based standardized tests that don't allow class notes are counterproductive because you could always look that shit up in real life? Maybe. It depends on the test, maybe. Sure. I can't speak to what schools are like. I've been in school for 20 years. I don't know. So what are some of the soft benefits? The soft benefits is you get people together with unique backgrounds that can deliver you products or things that you might have never gotten in a similar background. So like, this conversation I think was super entertaining. I would say this content was really good. I'm just looking at this from an entertainment side right now. I don't know how many countries in the world can put together something like this. I think Walter just like African American background. I think Myron is he from Sudan? No. What is his ethnic background? Like my mom is from Cuba. Sneako's dad is from Haiti? Haitian, I think, half. Oh, he's Caribbean? Yeah, it is Sudan. Like this table, this show, everything that happened here, like this is a pretty, like historically, geographically speaking, this is a wildly different set of characters that are brought around a table to have this debate and this discussion. And arguably, like all of our pathways to get here are part of the things that influence why we have the beliefs that we have, right? I don't know how old Myron was when he came to the United States, but the fact that this is a guy from Sudan who also started working for the Department of Homeland Security as a federal officer and then is now doing a show and having the opinions that he has is probably largely informed by a lot of his background. The fact that my mom was Cuban and I grew up as a conservative because she's Cuban.
I will say that is something about the United States that seems very exceptional. The idea that you would think that if you put a whole bunch of people with a whole bunch of different races and backgrounds and cultures, it would necessarily fall apart. You could argue, well, it's falling apart now. Why not? People say this decision was made. What are we waiting for? We have immigration now. Same-sex marriage. I don't know, diversity training and PPI. This is like, depending on what you're looking at, you can depend on what the issue is. You don't know if the country's falling apart. It doesn't seem like having a whole bunch of different, diverse population in and of itself.
Gave me the ability to kind of like empathetically integrate with a lot of these other platforms in a more fun way than a lot of people have. That's the only reason I'm here. I'm pretty sure for Sneako, I think he talks about his dad being Haitian quite a bit and a lot of the relationships he had with his father for a lot of the filming stuff that he did and a lot of the short films, the videos that he did, that probably influenced him a lot. I don't remember Walter's background exactly. I don't know his as well, but yeah, I'm just saying like, this would be an example of a diverse background coming together and creating something that is probably more interesting than just, I don't want to do the progressive meme, but is more interesting just like four white dudes that all came from Kentucky sitting together, like talking about their experiences, you know? Wait, hold on one sec. So how is diversity good? People on this podcast are stupid as fuck. Well, the point of this podcast is to be entertaining, right? And this is super entertaining. And I think that what's being discussed here and everything is something unique about the United States. You could also argue that there are groups of people in the United States that have contributed to our like worldwide dominance on a tech scale that also has to do with things related to diversity. So for instance, like there's the meme about a ton of Indians or a ton of Asians, that are super highly excelling in places like, in like the software tech world, for instance, in the software development world or whatever, right? That a lot of these coders will come from overseas and they come and work in the United States. And some people might meme and say they do shitty work. But there's a lot of native people that do shitty work. Yeah, you've got, there's a lot of trans people that work in San Francisco in tech related stuff, and they've been integrated really well into those environments, or so I've heard from a few people. Do you really want mass immigration taking away your son's job for retard podcasts like this? Entertainment is ruining the young minds. I don't know what the fuck that means. I don't think immigrants are going to take anybody's jobs. I don't think that happens. And the truth is that doesn't happen. In practice, it just doesn't really happen that immigrants steal jobs. Yeah. Yeah, but if you're referring to current situations when you have mass illegal migrants with no knowledge of their criminal background entering our community, coupled with known people on the terror watch list, it's not an effective way to improve diversity. That's why the FBI director has come out and time again saying the American public should be on alert. I don't know why you would ask me about how diversity can benefit a country and then start talking about illegal immigration. These are two completely.
Yeah, that is weird. It's like it's complete non-sequitur. The only way you could bridge that together is to be like, okay, well, immigration means people of different ethnicities coming in. It's like, okay, well, all the people saying that. I was gonna say, if they're all from Western Europe or Europe or whatever, would you still feel the same way? If the answer is no, then it's not simple immigration. It's immigration from where? Which I feel like would be a more honest thing to say. Don't know why you just wouldn't come out and say that.
And totally.
If it's because the way to come off, then argue for why it isn't that way. Don't just be like, well, it comes off this way, so I'm not gonna argue that at all. That's called being a bitch.
Separate. Those are two completely and totally separate things. Do you think that we should let immigrants in that don't have Western values or believe in basic liberal ideal? I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. My heart and my gut want to say yes, but the problem is that if you were to start trying to pick who can be in this country based on their adherence to like democratic or liberal ideals or whatever, you would have to axe out like half the Republicans at this point. Half the conservative population in the United States are not committed to principles of American freedom and democracy. So I don't even know how the fuck you would answer that question. How many workers do you think are illegally untaxed? I don't know. From legal and illegal, I don't know. It depends on how many people get paid under the table. We should only be taking the most skilled and qualified candidates to come into the U.S. That's a myth and a meme. Like unskilled workers are also big contributors to an economy. Skilled and unskilled workers are contributors to an economy. You don't just need skilled workers. That's a myth. I've got a really good a diversity argument equals different food joints. Don't think anyone can. Yeah, but Nazis. I shouldn't say Nazis. I'm sorry. The far right people don't accept those. They don't care about food or music, so they say that the cultural arguments aren't good ones. Is there any logical reason to take in Muslim immigrants over alternatives? So one thing that I got that was interesting is we have a 7% immigration cap for any particular country coming to the United States. It's a ceiling on each country. No group of permanent immigrants, family and employment-based combined from a single country can exceed 7% of the total number of people immigrating to the US in a single fiscal year. I think that might be a good idea to prevent, you don't want to take in a whole bunch of people that are all the same and like fundamentally alter in a dramatic way, maybe the character of your country. But I don't know what like the test ought to be or what kind of people you ought to be looking for. I haven't thought about that one in depth yet. I'll probably have a stronger feeling about it by the time we hit the end of this research arc. Diversity has advantages, but many diversity policies have far worse side effects than what they bring to the table. Affirmative action. I'm not talking about DEI. I'm not talking about affirmative. I'm not talking about any of the cringe shit. We didn't even get close to that. I'm saying that having a more diverse group of people is generally better than not having a more diverse group of people. All else equal. That's all I'm saying. But that doesn't mean that if you lower the standards for everybody who's black or female, then obviously that might not continue to be true. At some point, that's going to change very, very quickly, probably.
I thought I could have. If it was the other way, it was great because I have a whole bunch of magic potions. Not a lot.
That's an argument I've never in my life heard before, but it's pretty funny, and maybe that's true. Even if you get criminals from other countries, it is still better than a criminal coming from your own country. Criminals from your country took 18 years of resources just to go to jail, while migrants would just go to jail after arriving. Maybe that's true. I didn't even think of that. Imagine if we took all the immigrants post-1964 and replaced them with white immigrants, and tell me that we wouldn't have a better country with a higher standard of living. even if we did, you must understand that for all of you guys on the right that talk about bringing in immigrants from white countries, you know that they're not siding with you ever. You realize that, right? People don't immigrate to the United States from fucking Norway and vote for Donald Trump, or come from fucking France and want to vote for Donald Trump, or come from fucking Germany, or from Sweden or Finland or from Italy and are like, oh, I'm gonna vote for the conservatives. All of those people think you're fucking insane. So the idea that like, oh, if they would all just be white, we would be even more progressive. We would probably be even more cucked in your eyes. Like, is the border crisis entirely related to people seeking asylum? Should seeking asylum at the border be banned? I don't know, not sure. Is the diversity effect an emergent characteristic of different cultures coming together, or just a product of a larger pool of people to choose from? It's probably more the former than the latter, would be my guess. Is there an upper bound to how much immigration the U.S. can accept in a given time frame? I imagine, probably, yeah. I just feel like Sam Hyde has made a lot of strong arguments as to why Muslim immigration should probably not be allowed in Western countries. Why? But not all Muslims are the same. Why would you generalize? They're so different. Muslims from Somalia are going to have a way different set of characteristics than Muslims that fled Syria, or Muslims that live in Israel, or like Saudi Arabian Muslims versus those that live in fucking, you know, southern Lebanon with Hezbollah. Like these people are going to have different characteristics. Do you think that the Scandinavian countries' prosperity has anything to do with their level of racial or cultural hegemony? I don't know. I don't think so. I'm not sure if that... It seems more just like they're small countries. Some of them are really lucky with natural resources. Fucking Norway. Yeah, I don't know. Do you live in any caps on immigration? Yeah, you probably have to cap it somewhat. Like if 1 billion people from India wanted to come here tomorrow, probably not a good idea, right? Racial homogeneity has been shown to be beneficial when it comes to social trust, etc. Has it though? I know there was the one, David. Fuck, what was the name of the guy?
I would say for any other reason than sociability. If you find that people are socialized amongst other races, being less hostile towards it, it only makes sense. Extrapolate because there's less hostility.
There's one guy that gets cited all the time for that. I haven't dug into that research a lot, so I don't have a strong opinion on it. But like, aren't there places that were pretty socially or pretty ethnically homogenous that had huge fucking problems too? Like, what about all the Irish shit? Were those people completely different ethnicities? Like the fighting between the Northern Irish and the Republic of Ireland? Or what about like the Serbs and like the breakup of Yugoslavia and all of that? Weren't those people all pretty ethnically similar? Or what about like Syria? Like, aren't those people all pretty ethnically similar? Or Yemen, those people are all pretty ethnically similar? Or any of the number of fucking genocides that happen in Africa, aren't those people like pretty ethnically similar? Like, yeah, I don't know if I buy into the idea that people that are ethnically similar, that are just like in an area won't fight. Like, I feel like you can always draw divisions on different lines. It might correlate a little bit to it, but I don't know. Isn't having skilled immigrants better than non-skilled ones for the losers in your states? A lot of unskilled workers will take jobs from native unskilled workers. The thing is that if you get a lot of unskilled workers, it allows other unskilled workers to move into, I think Card's research claims that they move into complementary positions. So if you're an ordinary whatever worker at a McDonald's and five immigrants come in and they're capable of working a position that you work because you've had a little bit more time in the country, because you speak fluent English, the chances of you being boosted to like a supervisor or something is higher if you've got other immigrants that can fill in like roles similar to what you're working. All of those examples were ethnic civil wars, except Ireland, Linfeo. Yeah, but what you call an ethnic civil war is probably drawn on a line that's way smaller than what you realize you're asking for. When, like, this is always my problem with the Nazis, is you guys think that, like, white is an ethnicity. It's the most American, that's the most like globo homo diverse opinion that you could possibly have, is when you think that all white people are from the same ethnic background. It's such a cringe American take. And it is so stupid. So you might look at like ethnic conflict in other parts of the world, like, oh well, look at these people, they're all like ethnically. Like those are stemming from ethnic differences. Like you have way more ethnic differences in the average like far right group now. Yeah, especially when you get into Americans, like, oh no, if you came from white European stock, we're definitely like, we've got a high level of homogeneity. No, you fucking don't, bro. You have no idea what any of these people in Europe look at other white people as like. Like an American Nazi guy will look at a German ethnic background, Russian ethnic background, and Scandinavian ethnic background as all the same shit. And in fucking Europe, they can see this shit like instantly. Like, is that dude white? Is that dude white? No, what the fuck? He's not white. This dude is fucking German. This guy looks fucking Russian. Like this guy looks fucking Slavic. Like, you can instantly see these people and tell like what they look like. But to an American, especially to American far right people, like, oh my God, that's a European. That's a European over there. He's a European. I'm like you. I'm European, bro. Like, cringe. Mostly true, but you're exaggerating. I'm not exaggerating. Ukraine is a perfect example of that. They're at war, and the difference between Russians and Ukrainians is minimal. Yeah, true. Have you addressed the point of how most of the economic benefits of immigration are essentially a wealth transfer from low-skill American workers to corporations and immigrant workers? I haven't addressed that because it's probably not true. Wealth transfer from incoming people, what does that even mean? It sounds like what you're actually saying is, I don't understand anything about economics, and I think that economics is a zero-sum game. So if somebody is benefiting in an economic situation, I need to find the loser. So if a corporation is benefiting by hiring a worker, that must mean that somebody's losing. I need to find the loser, and that loser is going to be a native worker. Economics is not a zero-sum game. You can have economic transactions where both sides are gaining and wealth is being created, and this is how the whole history of economics works. It's not a zero-sum game. Just because there's a winner in some economic deal doesn't mean there has to be a loser on the other side of it. Turkish Muslims are very secular and don't like Wahhabi Islam. Iranians in the US are more liberal than Russian Caucasians like Khabib, who hides his wife. Okay. What the fuck is this? Okay, we're gonna read this article tomorrow, and we're gonna do all our immigration research tomorrow, and it's gonna be amazing, guys. My debate with Alex starts with 8 minutes. In college, this drunken frat bro started making clicking noises at me because I said I was East African. I said, "You racist piece of shit, I bet you have no idea where I'm from." And with no hesitation, he said, "You're probably from, is this Eritrea, or is it Eritrea? Eritrea?" He must have saw something in advance. Actually, it's probably just a fake story, but... What is your steel man for Nazis? I do not think you've ever done it. Pretty sure I did do it in a conversation with Mr. Girl. Well, we had a lot of arguments today. I still love you. I love you too, buddy. Oh, Dan has a video he wants us to watch as well. What is your counter to race realism as it relates to IQ? It's the same counter as most people that have like an orthodox view of society, and that like there's IQ is highly heritable. IQ is also highly polygenetic, and I don't know if there's been enough evolutionary pressure on different groups of people that average IQ differences between different groups of people that I would say it's 100% explained by a hereditary factor for IQ. I think it's just too strong of a claim. But on the other side, for people who say that there's no amount of difference between groups of people based on genetics and the heritability of IQ, that's too strong of a claim as well. The truth is probably somewhere in the middle, but that's obviously it's a contentious topic for a variety of political and social reasons, but two, it's also legitimately an incredibly difficult thing to investigate.
I feel like the only reason why it's so difficult is I'd say we did find out that like niggas on the lines just so let's say there was a group of like 3 people or some shit like that. And we found that they were like so stupid to where they couldn't do anything. Where they always wanted caretakers. Would we be like, well, it's time to just shovel them outside of society, or would we accommodate them? If the answer is accommodate them, then there shouldn't be any
Kevin Bass claims he did DM you arguments several days ago. Did he actually? Again, a lot of death threats the past few days, so I might have missed it.
Why specifically? Did you do anything especially enticing?
I don't know. How about, so probably something, I just don't know. Don't remember. How many days ago? I don't see it. What's his name? Kevin Is it Bass or Bass? What do you think? Oh, he did. Wait, when was this? Thursday. I wonder why this doesn't show up in my DMs. Wait, am I missing DMs? Wait, oh, I'm so paranoid now. Control F. Damn, I'm so paranoid. I don't know how this DM doesn't show up in my DMs. That's really spooky. Okay, well, he did DM me. All right, let's see what we got. 2 debate propositions. 1, hundreds of public health authorities, government officials, establishment media, and other public figures relevant to the pandemic response, pharmaceutical executives, philanthropists, etc., consistently, repeatedly, and systematically misled the public about the capability of the COVID-19 vaccine to stop transmission, block transmission, stop you from getting the virus, become a dead end, achieve herd immunity, and end the pandemic. These messages were intended to mean that the vaccine was either 100% effective or nearly 100% effective at blocking infection and transmission. The model that the authorities universally presented to the public was something akin to the measles or smallpox vaccine models, which produce nearly 100% lifelong immunity and can result in 0 infection nationwide. But the data showed that this model was either false or unsupported at the time. Respectful critics within the scientific community pushed back. They objected to these messages, which reached in the hundreds of statements. Even CDC spokespeople pushed back, but top officials, including the CDC director, kept repeating these lies and providing the false narrative, even when top scientists and spokespeople at their own agencies pointed out it was wrong. Most of the time, 100% blockage of infection and transmission was stated. However, even when it was acknowledged that it might not be exactly 100% blockage, the measles vaccine model was still used as the working model, which was nearly 100%. So it was either 100% or nearly 100%, but this is also a lie. Thus, it was several layers of lies piled on, one on top of the other. Nuances were provided only to propagate more lies. These messages were intended to be taken literally and were intended literally. The individuals who promulgated them really meant them and did not expect for the public to have some sort of vaccine messaging decoder ring to properly interpret them. They meant exactly what they sounded like. The vaccine either completely or, okay, fine, nearly completely stops transmission like the measles vaccine does and can end the pandemic like the measles and smallpox vaccine did.
It's almost like you can't say somebody's a worse person over and 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 over again, and then when they make you feel like, well, I feel like the way you were describing me would imply all these other things. Like, no, I wasn't describing you with those other things. It's not unless you're the most terrible person. Like, you, even if you want to say I'm right, it will be like a technicality, but like no one's going to intuitively, emotionally. If you make people feel like they're the reason for everything falling apart, they're going to web that. I'm the reason why people are dying. I'm the reason why people are shut down. I'm the reason why people can't go back to work. Like, you can't, like, put all that on people and, like, just hand wave the
Effectiveness is 100%. Most public statements are nearly 100% when forced to provide caveats. These were all lies all the time. What was the effectiveness of the of it on the initial virus? Was it 95% efficacy?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Pfizer vaccine effectiveness. Is it called the Alpha? Is the first SARS-CoV-2 strain called Alpha or?
SARS-CoV.
SARS-CoV-2 is the virus, but I'm trying to find the very first thing.
I understand.
The phase 3 trials were 95%, but phase 3 trials I think are only a few hundred people, right? In trials, it was over 90% effective at preventing serious disease. Was it preventing serious disease, or was it for preventing? Oh, it says for preventing symptomatic COVID.
You remember when it was a simpler day when we made fun of the people who got the Johnson & Johnson vaccine?
Yeah, Hutch came in a couple weeks ago, and that meme, he pulled me back into reality. That meme was the big one that reinforced my idea that nobody thought these vaccines were initially 100%, because everybody argued over whether you got the amazing Pfizer or like the okay like Moderna or the dog shit J&J, and the joke was always over like what was the most effective one. But everybody says that, oh no, back then everybody was saying that all the vaccines were 100% effective. But I'm pretty sure the only people who thought that were dipshit conservatives. But it's not because of what they heard from the media, it's because it's what they heard conservative media say the media were saying.
I don't even know if they were talking about that back then, the differential. It was just always like nobody wanted the J&J because it was less effective.
Yeah, exactly,
I think it gave you more symptoms.
I don't know if it gave you more symptoms, it just wasn't as effective.
No, it did. It absolutely did. Right? Unless I'm completely misremembering, like people were making it seem like the J&J one definitely was a little bit more risky than the other one with the knowledge they had at the time. I don't know if it ended up being true that it was like more dangerous or not than the other ones, but I know at the time for sure people were saying, hey, listen, you know, if you're pregnant, don't take J&J or shit like that. Like there was more danger behind it. So if you got the J&J, you were like the poor or something. You were the poors that couldn't get the poggers, you know, Pfizer one or Moderna. You don't remember any of this at all?
No, I don't remember J&J. I remember AstraZeneca had a thing for a little bit. I wonder if J&J got pulled for a few days because of worry for blood clots maybe, but then it stopped. But
I mean, there was something, but I mean, definitely the vibe behind it was that like, if you were going to get a vaccine, you didn't want to get the J&J one. You were like, fuck, I don't want to do that. You want the
J&J was less effective because it was a single dose and meant to last longer overall compared to the other ones.
Is that even true?
I don't know.
I don't think that's true.
I don't know if you can make it last longer. Oh, wait. Oh, God. I'm friends with the guy now. Hold on. Where is he? What's the name of the funk guy?
Funkhauser?
Dan the Afro Man. Hey, are you awake at the moment? Debunk the funk. He's like a vaccine dude. We're friends on Discord.
Marty Funkhauser.
J&J wasn't mRNA, I believe. No, the J&J one was a attenuated virus, I believe. I think. Am I making that up? It's where you take a virus and it's either a killed or weakened version. Is that an attenuated virus vaccine? Uses a disabled adenovirus to deliver the Yeah, this is. I think they're considered attenuated viral. What?
Here, you gotta watch this clip. It's a little bit safe for work, but not safe for work, but it goes specifically to the vibe of what J&J had at the time. Click it and watch it.
Okay. Did you support shutting down religious services during that time? In the very beginning, before we knew what was going on, probably. But I think probably 50% of people in chat. I think this is like you have to have an IQ of like 102 or higher. So I think at least half of you are incapable of doing a in the past perspective analysis. You can't do it. Like if I say to you, at the time I could understand taking a lot of precautions. Your response is going to be, what do you mean? Nothing bad happened. You're not capable of like thinking prospectively from a moment in time. You can only think retrospectively. That's it. So I'm not even going to waste my fucking time on this right now because I'm getting.
Yeah, but it's just like there's an aspect of like you don't. I guess like you could say because we don't know what's going on, we have to take every precaution necessary. But at least I guess on the other end, just be honest. Say, yes, we are revoking or limiting the First Amendment in a way we haven't done in quite some time. We are at least say every single thing and be honest about it instead of just like, we just want to save lives. That could be the case that you just want to save lives, but the method in which you are choosing to save lives means X, Y, and Z. You can't hide from X, Y, and Z. You can't be like, well, we're not going to acknowledge that because that's not what I'm doing. It's okay.
Hella fucking triggered.
I walk in the doctor like, give me the third best option.
I don't understand the conservatives that are saying this.
Nobody wanted it.
Yeah,
right?
but why?
Yeah. Because like it was giving you side effects.
No, it was because the efficacy was lower. It's because everybody thought
there was more side effects with this one. I know it. Like weren't they literally? God, I'm gonna feel. Actually, I don't give a shit. COVID's fucking over.
Well, maybe this is maybe it's a bubble thing. Everybody that even like well, hold on. Wait, don't say anything. Or no, wait. You can say whatever you want. Wait.
I thought the J&J thing had more side effects announced in the press as a result of it. And people were kind of nervous about doing it. And like maybe if you're pregnant, you can't take it. And if you do take it, maybe you're supposed to keep like track of your heart rate or some shit. Because I don't know. That's what I feel like it was, but I don't remember because it was like 600 years ago.
Wait, who just joined? Oh, like him.
Dan is right. Like I'm not saying from a medical perspective or what was actually announced by CDC or anything. I'm just saying there was that myth that like because I got the Pfizer one, it was like, oh, thank God I got the Pfizer one because everyone's saying the J&J one, makes your arm hurt worse, your side effects, like the sickness you get the day after, like is way worse. So
all of the friends, all the normie friends. Well, I shouldn't say normie. That's not true at all. I'm thinking vaccine normie or political normie. But I remember for Lily and OTV, they were all talking about getting it, but I don't remember it being side effects. It's because of what was I remember people were talking about like, oh yeah, J&J, you're still gonna get sick. That's what I remember hearing back then. But maybe once the J&J blood clot thing happened, maybe that conversation topic changed.
I don't know. I just remember thinking that like getting the shot your day and day after were gonna be way worse on Johnson & Johnson. And that's why I was happy I got Pfizer. That's all. I'll listen to you guys fight about it.
Be careful, man. She's not responding to me on Discord. Ever since I told her I was never voting for Trump, she stopped responding to all my DMs. Remember this Destiny J was like, J&J was 60% effective, the others were 90, yeah. Also, I'm curious, what do conservatives think everybody meant when they said flatten the curve? What do they think that was referring to? I think people are incapable of comprehending partially effective vaccines. Yeah, I'm trying to think for that too. I think the main reason is because some diseases don't change much, so your immune system will always remember. But apparently other diseases change a lot. But like, is that true for tetanus? I'm trying to think of your immune system remembers some things forever. People are saying that it's for a good or bad vaccine, but I don't think it has anything to do with the vaccine. I think it has to do with the disease, right? So like, if you get the measles vaccine, I don't think you'll get measles. But if you get measles, I don't think you get measles again, right? Isn't that a disease you get once? So it's not really, but okay.
I think you can get it. I think you can get it again, actually. Measles. It's just unlikely, I believe.
Well, like, that's the same thing with the vaccine too.
Or something? Right?
No, shingles I think is when you get, that's when you get chicken pox a second time, I think. Oh no, that's when you get chicken pox for the first time as an adult, isn't it? That's why people like to get chicken pox. They do the chicken pox parties as kids, and you get chicken pox as a child, I think. Measles doesn't mutate as quick as the flu or COVID. Yeah, that's my understanding. All immunities wane, but some wane faster than others. I don't know if that's true. I don't, okay, okay, Listen, this
ahead.
guy's coming. Okay, we're testing the limits.
Make sure you preface your statements. You
I
know what
won't
to say.
preface, I don't give a fuck.
Say the line. It's your understanding.
I think your body has two ways, I think, of fighting infections, broadly, I think. When you get infected by a thing, the bad guy comes in, and then your body sees the bad guy, it like fucks it, and then it comes back with a perfectly shaped dick for your vagina thing to blah, 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 blah. Your immune system, I think, it's got two huge ways of remembering, I think, the infection. So one is, I think your body produces antibodies that plug into the virus and kill it, or bacteria and kill it in the best way. And after you're sick for some number of months, a whole bunch of these antibodies will still be floating around in your body. But so if you get sick again and the virus or bacteria, whatever pathogen comes in, the antibodies will go and kill it, and it's just fucked completely. But antibodies don't last forever. In the beginning of the COVID stuff, people would look at the the vaccines and they'd be like, oh my God, 6 to 8 months later, you don't have any antibodies left. Like, oh, it's totally fucking worthless. We were scammed. But antibodies always fade away. They don't last forever. But your body has, I don't remember if they're called memory B cells. Your body has memory cells to where if you get infected again, it's able to recreate those antibodies way quicker in the future. Antibodies will always fade away, I believe, months after the infection, some number of months it's measured. While you have antibodies present, you can kill stuff really quick so you don't even get sick. But I think you always have, I think, some kind of memory cell that will remember the thing. But the problem is that for some viruses, like I believe influenza, the types of changes that the virus makes make it such that your immune system just doesn't recognize it ever. Like once it's mutated, it's like a whole different thing. If you have, obviously it's more complicated than this, but I think if you've got a virus, you'll have like two parts maybe. You have like the part here is what fucks your body up, and the part here might be like another mechanism by which it either locks into a cell or it does whatever. Sometimes when viruses mutate, because I think everything generally mutates, it's just like a rule of thumb, things tend to change around a little bit. Sometimes only these parts will mutate, the parts that might cause damage or the parts that infect your body quicker or whatever, but the proteins that are involved in identification don't change ever, or very, very, very rarely they change. I think this is the case with things like measles, to where it might mutate a little bit, but the fundamental proteins involved with identifying measles are basically always the same. So if you get infected once, your body's always going to remember that infection. But I think for things like influenza, the types of mutations that happen affect the surface where your body would identify it and the way that it spreads through your body and everything. So if you get infected with a different strain of the flu, you could have had 1,000 flu infections in the past, and it will confer absolutely zero immunity onto you for the next version of the flu if it mutates in such a way that your body just doesn't recognize it anymore. Pseudo-intellectual. What did I just say that was wrong? I remember hearing around that time that Pfizer would last longer than J&J and you wouldn't need a booster as soon. That might have been true for Pfizer, but if that was true, it's probably just because the dose was bigger and it was a series, because I think you got it 2 weeks later. But I believe that my understanding is that by the end of all of it, roughly the mRNA vaccines and like natural immunity had about the same protection from a future virus, and the antibodies lasted about as long as each other, I believe. Where do you draw the line or balance debating its effectiveness and whether its effectiveness is worth infringing on the rights of people not wanting to take it? That's a really hard one. I don't know. That's a really difficult question. The thing is that like everybody, I don't believe this is a principled stance. I think that this is a utilitarian stance for everybody. I think that but people won't acknowledge that. But for instance, if I could conceive of a virus that has a 95.
If you were saying, yeah, like how he's about to say, it was a 95% chance of killing you. Yeah, what we were saying. Yeah, what we were saying. Yeah, at that point, you have to repeat your lies. But I wouldn't say you're repeating your lies because most people would agree at that point. You wouldn't have to repeat on people. They would be like, yeah, I accept it. Let's all do this. Yes, I agree. Yes. It wouldn't be impeded. It wouldn't be removal of rights. Unless you want to say, as long as rights are being dissolved or going away in incapacity,
0.001% kill rate that lays dormant.
But also, if we don't know yet, if we say, well, we don't know what the rate of kill rate of this disease is yet, there are going to be people who are going to say, oh, I prefer these rights so much better if you can prove that it's something like 95%. If you can show that it's like, if it's a 50% chance of dying, demonstrate that. Not to be like, oh, 50% chance of dying now, so therefore, fuck your rights. You're going to have to come correct a bit. Streaming 2.5 hours only? Holy shit. Yeah, I did start around 9, didn't I?
Dormant for 10 weeks in the human body, but it's still infectious in that time period, everybody would say, well, you got to get a vaccine or we're going to kill you. We will literally kill you if you do not get vaccinated. You're not allowed in here because I'm not going to have a dormant virus that kills me in 10 weeks. Fuck you. Okay? Everybody would be pro-vaccine. Like pro-vaccine mandates under threat of murder from the government. I think everybody would say yeah. But if there was a virus that had like a 0.001% like serious illness rate and you just went to the hospital, and then when you were in the hospital had like a 1% kill rate, nobody would be in favor of a forced like at gunpoint mandate. So I think that when we talk about mandating vaccines, it has to be a balance between, there's three things you have to balance. For intelligent people, the balance is between the effectiveness of the vaccine, meaning how likely is it to either reduce the likelihood of getting infected or reduce the likelihood of serious symptoms. And then the second thing is balancing that with side effects. What are the side effects and how likely are those side effects? And then there's a third thing for conservatives, which is like bodily autonomy or some autistic shit that you have to balance for political reasons. But those are like the the huge things that you're trying to balance when you're thinking about like a mandate for a vaccine. How do you feel about the CDC loosening mandates and COVID disappearing from the media in general? Well, I mean, once we were like 6 to 12 months into the pandemic, I think that's kind of what everybody thought. It was like, now it's going to be, what is it called? Is it endemic at that point? It's just a virus we have to live with forever. I mean, that's what happens at some point. But like it mutated such to a point to where it's not like as horrible anymore. So, yeah. There's very few deaths now. Are there? Isn't it still more than the, isn't it still more than like the highest flu seasons? Hold on, I'm gonna gut this and then we'll Google. I thought it was still around like projected in around like 50 to 100,000 a year, and bad flu seasons were like 60,000. But I'll check. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's gotten less than that. COVID deaths tracker USA. Deaths. What about the inverse moral conflict like The Last of Us? Someone has the ability to cure the world, but to make the vaccine, you have to kill them. Honestly, I think that's... Joel was probably morally in the wrong for that. Although I think they cuck out in either The Last of Us 2 or in the show. I think it was in The Last of Us 2 they cuck out, and they say that like, oh no, they tried this surgery in the past and it didn't work, so it probably wouldn't work with Ellie or something. What am I looking for? Where the fuck? I'm looking for numbers. Some people will bring the antibody enhancement up. You should look this one up and have a counter argument ready. Are you talking about antibody, ADE, antibody dependent enhancement? Yeah, no, vaccines are already tested for this. It's not a thing that we really worry about. That was just one thing that a conservative stumbled upon and started to spread that theory that this would happen, but it's just, we test for that in vaccines. The antibody-dependent enhancement is, if your parents bring this up, let's see. I'm trying to think of how this works. I think the way your immune system fights against the SARS-CoV-2 virus, I think what happens is there's like it's called the spike protein. This is the protein that is able to fuck one of your cells. There's a surface of the cell that has a protein that allows, is it ACE2, I think? I don't remember. I'm writing random shit here. I don't know if this is right or not. But basically there's a protein here that allows it to plug into the cell because the cell sees this protein and is like, oh, cool, a friendly dude, come bang. And then once it gets in here, it splurges its load inside the cell and then it starts manufacturing more of the virus. I think what your antibodies are supposed to do is, I think your antibodies are supposed to plug into a part of the virus. I think it's the spike protein. And once they plug in, they can't do anything because the antibody isn't going to produce any virus because it's just an antibody. It's not like a full cell with like the ribosomes and production facilities. So it just floats there until, I think once an antibody attaches, I think it's macrophages. You've got huge, like disgusting vacuum cleaner dudes that come and eat everything that has like one of those guys attached to it. But I think that if you have an antibody that's stuck to the virus, if you've got an antibody that's stuck to the virus, then the virus shouldn't be able to infect a cell, and then it's marked for deletion from the macrophages, I think. But I think that there's an esoteric thing that can happen if you really bad called antibody-dependent enhancement. And this is like a really bad thing where you get a virus and you create something, or your body creates it, or a vaccine might do this incorrectly. And what happens is you find a way to plug into that virus, but you don't actually block the virus from attaching to a cell. You just block it from being seen by your immune system. So now what you've done is the antibodies of your body are plugging into it and they're shielding it from your immune system and they're letting it roam carte blanche through your body. And now you've actually enhanced the infection, the pathogen, because it could be bacterial or viral, I think. You've enhanced the infection now with your antibodies, and now you're because whenever your guy is attached to it, now it's like shielded from your immune system, and then it goes around and it moves with impunity through your body, which is not good. But ADE is something that is that's tested for when you're creating vaccines to make sure that interaction's not happening. Why the fuck? Or what's worse is the virus hijacking the antibodies to factorial out more viruses. I don't know if that's possible. I don't know if antibodies have human antibody.
All right, this is boring. We'll
Love
talk
you.
later.
Careful. What is an antibody cell? An antibody, or what? Can antibodies make anything? Why do so many plumbers, welders, typical masculine tradespeople claim they're capable of making 100K a year when the only people in the trades that make that much are realistic small business owners that hire tradespeople? Because they call themselves still like plumbers and shit. Like people say, oh, like my uncle's a plumber, he makes $250,000 a year. He probably started as a plumber, and then he started as a plumber, and then he started hiring other plumbers and working a business, and now he's a business owner, but he still calls himself a plumber. Antibodies are just proteins. Yeah, I don't think an antibody is a full cell. I don't think an antibody can create anything. I think to create stuff, I think it has to be a ribosome, I think. Ribosomes, I think, are the only thing in the human body that can make proteins, right? Am I wrong on that? Can anything else create a protein? B cells produce antibodies which bind pathogens and mark them for destruction by other immune cells. T cells kill infected host cells or help B cells produce more antibodies. Okay. What about mitochondria? Can they produce things? I don't think they produce anything. I'm pretty sure ribosomes are the only things that can make proteins in the body, I think. No, vaccines don't reduce all diseases to zero. Why the fuck do you think we have a yearly flu shot? The reason why you get a yearly flu shot is because it's really a different thing. Influenza is like a class of things. Are they coronaviruses or is that just the cold? When you get flu shots every year, you're not getting booster shots for the same thing. You are, it's for different strains of the flu. For different diseases, essentially. What? Hi, baby. Oh, hold on one second. Show dog. I'm gonna fuck your dog. The AD argument was only if you mandate a vaccine that doesn't confer total immunity, only partial. You run the risk of encouraging ADEs on a population level. I don't think that's true. If you only get partial immunity, you run the risk of encouraging ADEs on a population level. I've never heard that before. Maybe that is a thing and I just haven't heard of it. There's a lot of stuff I don't know about this. Given you're right about the contractors most of the time, you're still wrong. I befriended commercial refrigeration that can clear 160-ish a year. Let's bet you like that. If he does, he's a massive outlier. I can look at the Bureau of Labor Statistics and tell you what they make on average. Your friend is either a massive outlier or some people that work trades love to work and they'll work a fuck ton. If your friend makes that much, he might be working like 90 hours a week. Or he sells jobs illegally as an individual independent of his company. Flu shots contain vaccines for several strains and that they guess would be predominant this year. Yeah. But it's not the same flu. It's not like I don't think you would consider your flu shots every year. I don't think you would call those booster shots, right? But if you're uncertain about the vaccine's effectiveness in real time, how can we make a judgment on whether to limit individuals' rights in real time practically? Here's the problem, okay? This is what conservatives won't acknowledge. It drives me crazy. Giving a vaccine, you're not thinking about whether or not is the vaccine effective or is it harmful. That's not the thought. People think that's what you're thinking about. That's not at all the thought. The thought is it's not the vaccine competing against no vaccine. It's the vaccine competing against the disease. That's the question. You could theoretically manufacture a vaccine with a 50% fatality rate, and you could make a strong argument for mandating that at point of death to a population. You have to take this vaccine, even though it's got a 50% chance of killing you. Because maybe there's a disease circulating right now that has a 99% chance of killing you with an R0 of 5,000. It infects every single person you even lay eyes on, right? That's theoretically possible. When you're creating a vaccine, you're not trying to measure the effectiveness of the vaccine efficacy versus side effects if you want to do it. It's versus the potential disease as well. That's what you're racing against. That's what you're fighting. Yeah. The open letter written by this guy in March. In this open letter, I'm appealing to the WHO and all stakeholders involved, no matter their conviction, to immediately declare such actions as the single most important public health emergency of international concern. I'm all but an anti-vaxxer. Oh boy. So, this guy, he's not a... Wait, is he actually a PhD? Interesting. The writing, this is just written feels like a high school writing. Just on the first two sentences, I'm sorry, it's just the vibe I get, but okay. Usually PhDs do a ton of writing, regardless of what they're in, but I am all about an anti-vaxxer. As a scientist, I do not usually appeal to any platform of this kind to make a stand on vaccine-related topics. As a dedicated virologist and vaccine expert, I only make an exception when health... Hold on, wait. What is this guy's background? Is this guy anything? My skepticism is off the charts right now. A Belgian veterinarian virologist, self-declared specialist in the field of RNA vaccines, an independent researcher and advisor. Oh shit, hold on. Wait, I'm just gonna call somebody real quick. Hello? Hello? If you're talking, I cannot hear you. Oh, sometimes on the phone Discord, you gotta leave and rejoin. Hello?
Hello?
Hi, I can hear you. Okay, wait, I'm just curious. Just a random question, okay? Real quick, you have no idea what I'm about to ask you, right? I didn't say anything in Discord or anything like that, right?
Well, how could I have known? You haven't messaged me in like 2 years.
Okay, shut up. Okay, it hasn't been 2 years. It's been like 4 months, okay?
It's like 1 year, yeah. It's been a really long time.
Okay, I'm just curious. Do you remember at the start of the pandemic, right?
Uh-huh.
Do you remember when people were talking about getting vaccinated? And remember how there was like all the jokes going around? You're like, oh, did you get the Pfizer or the Moderna or the J&J? Why? What were the differences between those like 3 shots? Why were people joking about them?
I felt like the joke was like, oh, which vaccination did you get? Like a starter Pokemon, like did you pick Squirtle, Charmander, or Bulbasaur?
Yeah, but do you remember, were some people saying some were better or worse, and why?
I don't remember, sorry.
Oh my
Maybe?
God.
I literally don't remember.
All right, whatever.
Why? Wait, was they not? Sorry, do you want me to say, you can privately message me in Discord and I'll say it so you can set up your joke on stream?
No, it's not a joke.
Okay, then what was it?
Hold on. Okay, I didn't type anything to you, but do you have anything you want to say?
Yeah. Well, oh, actually, now that you mention it, I do remember that people preferred the mRNA vaccines because they had a higher efficacy than the J&J ones. Hee hee.
Yep. Oh, thank you, Lily. I'm so glad you remember that. Thank you. That's all I needed. Okay, cool. Well, hey,
see you in a
have fun
year.
hanging
Bye.
out. Yep, bye. See, there you go. Let me get a Red Bull 1 sec. Was getting the J&J because in a third world country and easy access okay? I mean, there's nothing bad with it. It was just, they're just different. Yeah. Okay, whatever. Okay, this guy. Oh, actually, you know what? If English isn't his first language, that would actually explain why the writing looks like this. That's possible, actually. So maybe that explains why it looks weird like this. But I remember seeing scenes in Asia of people lining up for the Pfizer vaccine, like it was midnight release of the Xbox 360. I could be wrong. I had somebody email me this and I didn't fact check it, so careful, low conviction. Somebody told me that China doesn't actually like the mRNA vaccines. For whatever reason, they didn't want to use them and they produced their own. And the one that they produce is actually pretty dog shit. And as a result, they've had to do more lockdowns and more mandates of like public health stuff because the efficacy of their vaccines is not very high. I don't know if that's true or not. I had somebody email me that, but I have one guy in chat just said, that's true. And then underneath he said, not true. So there you go. As a dedicated virologist and vaccine expert, I only make an exception when health authorities allow vaccines to be administered in ways that threaten public health. Most certainly when scientific evidence is being...
We're cutting it. I am tired as a motherfucker. So we're gonna cut it here. Yep. Y'all have a great day.